Ladies and gents, welcome to week 6 of the EGL Open Series split number 3. My name is Chris Dunn, joined by Toby Campbell as per usual, into some more Gears action as per usual. Once again, we are delighted to be jumping into our 3 game modes as we are. Toby, once again, we're very happy to be here on a Sunday. Only a couple of weeks left to go. Very excited to jump into week number 6.
As always, have to mention the weather, Chris. It's been a very hot week, I must say, in Wales. Quite uncomfortable, actually, at times. I've had difficulty trying to get to sleep, actually. It's been quite hot, it's safe to say. But no, I've enjoyed the sun and also plenty of grinding on the ranked leaderboards, as per usual, with Op 7.
Yeah, it is quite tepid here in the northeast of England, has to be said. It is very, very warm as well. You may see me profusely sweating throughout the whole of this, not just because of the high level of gears that I'm saying, but because it's really, really warm. But let's jump into the bracket, see how things are indeed progressing. The tournament has been going on since 3 p.m., but yet we still don't have 2 semi-finals. My goodness me, have we had some high level of competition going on, Toby? I do wonder. We can see, though, that semi-final number 1 on the right-hand side, PhantomT against a For Fun or TamTam, whatever you want to call them, are coming in hot. That's the first game we're going to be seeing. But on the other side of things, we're still waiting for presumably a massive KRIMCEZ coming through. XXs, if you like, Crimsons and the boys, looking to try and get their quarterfinal done, which I do believe hasn't even started. So we may well potentially have some long breaks waiting on some games, but we will keep you up to date with how that is going. Let's just go through a couple of things very firstly. Obviously, we announced throughout the week that the prize pool for the finals will be doubling. So excited to see, hopefully, you guys turning up for that one. It's going to be one of the bigger prize pools we've had in some time now, of course, coming on through. So excited for that one, Toby. A little bit more on the line for the players to play for.
Huge amount. Doubling of a prize pool is nuts and pretty much unheard of oftentimes in esports, right? How often do you hear about that? Just double of a prize pool out of nowhere. Insane stuff. And I'm sure there's going to be many players looking at that announcement just thinking, actually, I might actually start practicing more. I might actually start competing a little bit more often. You know, maybe we'll see Phelpsy or someone else, turn up from after a nice break and, playing lots of Warzone and whatnot. I wonder if we'll see lots of players return out of nowhere. Of course, Marshall will be back soon, I'm sure. He's been busy with his exams, self-admittedly, but I'm sure they're almost over. Exam period is almost but done. Can't wait to see what teams kind of spawn out of that announcement alone.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Of course, things are progressing along, and we haven't been holding on to the money, as it has been mentioned. It's just sort of something that got signed off as we do get through. And, we announced it as soon as we possibly could. It has been in the pipeline for a good few weeks, and it was just a case of getting it over the line, if you like. And once we did, we let everybody know. And yeah, hopefully it does bring some people in for the finals. We do just want to progress things, and it has to be set out to TC for the help along with that sort of thing as well. We've got a nice broadcast coming to you that little bit earlier, actually. It's going to be the 26th and 27th, and 2 broadcast days, which should be phenomenal. Means we have to delve deep into the fun to pay Toby Campbell for 2 full days, and that, well, I think Fru was right. That's where most of the prize pool's gone, unfortunately.
I think Fru was actually asked for no, I'm joking. But no, I mean it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get all the boys together and cast another long weekend for the finals. It will surely be a big weekend.
Oh yeah, we're going to have a busy week here at EGL with all that one. More to come on that. Not necessarily guest related, but good God almighty. Some days off are going to have to be scheduled in, Matt, so just let the HR reps know that that's going to be coming in. Anyway, besides the point, For Fun against PhantomT. For Fun, obviously being TamTam, etc. Coming in here against PhantomT. Of course, the semi-finals is a best out of 5, as it has been, well, this for the second week now. Coming into this one, of course, though, with escalation to kick things off here on District. Now, this isn't the one that we seen last week, of course, between these 2 teams. It was a pretty close matchup, but For Fun were the ones getting things done. Over on the side of For Fun, obviously somebody a little bit different on the roster, apart from Cougars, who we seen was a really big reason as to why they advanced on through. Notorious playing this week for them, Toby.
Yeah, an interesting pickup. I'm not sure what Cougars is up to this week. He might just generally be unable to make it, and so they've had to fly in a sub for this time, which is, of course, Noto. Not sure if he will be a permanent member or, if it is temporary. So I guess we'll have to wait and see as things do develop. But, there's been lots of roster changes this past week. I'm sure we'll delve into much of them as time goes on. But I'm pretty sure the prize pool is shaking things up a little bit in people's minds now, and they're, kind of locking down their rosters now so to get the practice in ready for finals.
What's the fun about locking the 2-cap? Maybe even the domination. Yep, that is going to be a domination round number 1. Going over to TamTam for fun. What are we going to call them? I think we decided TamTam, didn't we?
I think TamTam's a little bit better. You know, we've casted over them before with that name, so you know, TamTam -1. I don't know.
Did Matt have a? Did Matt? I was going to say, did Matt have a suggestion there? I was wondering.
There we go. That's his suggestion. TamTam.
There we go. He sorted it out. That makes it easier for us.
He's made the executive decision. Thank you very much.
Do you not know Matt makes all the decisions here at EGL?
Oh yeah, of course. We just
I won't repeat that.
I guess one of the roster swaps we should talk about very quickly, as is quite obvious on our screen right now, is Sarkster. Saki is playing with PhantomT now. That old ZenX roster, if you will, is essentially just completely split up. Breaker's now a free agent. Slazen is playing in the other semi-final today, waiting his opponent. That roster is no more. And yeah, no, Saki is a fully fledged member of PhantomT, I've been told. Nesteeks is out, Saki taking his place. Curious to see how that impacts things.
Well, it's impacted things very nicely in this round in particular. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that is tough. I very much expected Dragons to die there, as did everybody else watching this, but Dragons doing dragon things. All of a sudden, this is going to be a 2-cap now for TamTam. Yeah, Saki coming in for Nesteeks. I mean, what kind of change is that, though? I mean, looking at it from, you know, Saki in previous seasons, very much one of the guys influential around how things work in the team, more like a shot caller, doing the dirty work for the team. Do you think that's what PhantomT kind of needed, do you think? Or I'm not too sure.
I'm not too sure about this either. I'm really unsure where I sit with it, because kind of the PhantomT key to victory was to just outslaying initials oftentimes. You know, that's how they put a lot of pressure on the top teams, even, you know, massive back in the last split finals. And it was just their speed and aggression, right? Ricardo, Vision, and Nesteeks, those three in particular were always about speed and playing aggressive and getting up close and personal. But now you swapped out a very aggressive player for what is a much more passive player in Sarkster, right? Got opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of, you know, stylistically how they play the game. But, you know, maybe that's a benefit. Maybe that takes away from their play style and kind of loses their edge, if you will. And they get a little bit, you know, too vanilla perhaps for some people's likings. But I guess we'll you know, wait and see how things do play out. Maybe it just balances the team out a little bit better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it makes it more not having to rely on those initials, etc. to a certain degree. Saki definitely does bring something a little bit different to the table for this team, but let's see if it gets them a step further this week, because this is where they were stopped in by that exact team. They were stopped as well, and they may well be able to get over towards B. It looks that way. Domination was taking for just a second. 50-second win condition, though, for TamTam. I think that might change in a second when PhantomT do get a hold of this, or is it going to be quite close? No, it is not going to quite change. It's not far off, though, on the side of PhantomT. I think it's literally a second difference. Looking at things there. Okay, well, it's not too far off, at least, anyway, but it's one win condition. There you go. It changes very, very quickly as soon as hills do change hands. So PhantomT very much in a good spot to get something done here, especially if they can win this fight against Dragons in the middle. They do eventually, but casualty does come through in Vision. I'm going to have to produce something pretty sharpish. Get something going here. Slaps is going to find one, though. Is the changeover going to happen in time? Not quite. It'll be a round over towards PhantomT. One apiece.
Yeah. Nice round from both teams there. And I think so far what we can tell, Chris, is that these teams are perhaps a little bit more evenly matched, I guess, than when Cougars was in the roster. I think most would consider that Cougars would be a more solid member based on their experience alone together in this TamTam roster. And so losing that, you know, that chemistry and just simply how good Cougars is, you know, he really is one of the best players in Europe on this game, and he was in Gears 4. I think it knocks down TamTam a little bit. Meanwhile, yes, PhantomT, relatively new team, of course. Saki being picked up, as we mentioned, just in the middle of this week, essentially. But it kind of levels the two out. So I'm curious, actually, which team comes out on top today. Yeah, both camps have a little bit of change here.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, especially with Notorious. He was kind of hyped up before heading into the Pro League, wasn't he? That's very nice from Dragons once again. A lot of people had high hopes from him. And they never really came to fruition, did they? He's always been a very good 1v player, etc. 2v2 Nashers. He's always been solid at that, as we did see in our 2v2 tournament that we did run. But it never really pieced itself together in the Pro League for him, did it?
No, you're right. I think he's just continued to put all his, or at least overwhelming majority of his time into wagers and Nasher matches and so on and so forth. And as a result, that's kind of just been his practice, right? I think if he just puts a lot more time into, say, scrims and playing with the likes of Dragons, Hydra, and Co, who he's good friends with and has had lots of experience playing with, I think he'd get significantly better in a relatively short period of time. But it's just not been something he's leaned in towards, I guess.
Yeah, the talent is definitely there on on a pure shooting level and movement, etc.
Yeah.
But maybe didn't work out on the team that he was in. Either way, let's see how he does this weekend. So far, so good, though, on this round in particular for TamTam, who do have the lead, but the controllers with PhantomT as is the win condition. Notorious now. Yeah, this is a bad place to be, but there we go. Good shots on Vision, and this is kind of where it rings true about his talent and obviously his availabilities to some of these top teams to do something. He does have that in his locker. Already going to be pushed back here. Is Notorious going to start getting aggressive? Needs his team with him to try and capture C. Now he's going to push, just try and keep them in there. Maybe try and find one, at least put the pressure on. Good shots from Notorious. C going to be locked in now, and B is easy pickings as soon as PhantomT, or as soon as TamTam want to move out, but it's just as well keeping them here. Vision is going to find Dragons. Should be dead and Notorious in a second as well, or somebody. Death Hunter also fell during that process, so there you go. Now that's a big kill coming through from Slaps as well. That's going to be A locked back in. If Saki can't do anything, this round may well be over, as we can see over towards B. Things are moving quite nicely for TamTam. That should be a round over towards them, unless some heroics over towards C can come through. Vision is just about going to get the touch, but is it too little too late, Toby?
Seems like it. They're just going to wrap up these kills now. Vision will get taken down. Ricardo will follow. Simple round for TamTam to clean up, and looking good. They are looking good. I think we even nice, very, very nice from Slaps and Dragons, of course, in these last 3 rounds. But I think it's been very clear over time, and just watching Noto play there, that he's got the really hardcore experience with mechanically in the 1v department and whatnot. It's just I think it really just comes down to playtime in these kind of environments, right? Because he's got the mechanics to match a lot of the top players, but it's a completely different kettle of fish to have the teamwork, the comms, and the smarts in Escalation, Exi, and now Control as well. It's completely different, right? When you're just in a 2v2 or a 1v1 shotgun with just a smoke or whatever it might be, if just flashes are involved on the same 3 maps oftentimes as well, your Asylum District training grounds, it's got a great strengths to it as a method for practice, but it's still a shell of the game. You're missing so much there, I think, and just with a little bit more time to work on his weaknesses, his weak points, I think he could come a long way.
Let's see then. I think we do see that input in from him. I'm sure we'll get the results back. It's just about converting over to what you want to do, and obviously at this moment in time, a lot of people not really taking part. So let's see if he's somebody who can stick around, and you never know what the future holds for a player like Notorious, of course. We want the TamTam right now. Bit of a stalemate to kick things off here in the escalation, but it looks like B should be captured by TamTam in a second. Shot's going to be going in, just fighting for a little bit of control here. Neither team able to ascertain much of that so far, but here comes the first big push. It's going to be PhantomT making the move. C, decapped. So ultimately, TamTam are the ones who now have to make a move. My god, the F1 GP is not going outside my window, I promise.
Can't hear anything anyway.
You didn't hear it, did you not?
No,
fantastic. I heard it loud and clear in my ears. My goodness me. Slaps now. Making the push through. Oh, good god. There you go. Well, they managed to defend C very, very well. Win condition now for TamTam.
Retro in hand for Rowdy to keep the players at bay. But is that enough? TamTam's being super aggressive down bottom as well. They bought a little bit of time, but the Cog are still fighting through. Curious actually if Dragons or Noto will fall up to the left. Yeah, Hydron's still going in. Slap still picking up kills. There's Noto with the reinforcements and a simple up A to find vision. Surely that's it now. Dragons regrouping. Another very nice round from TamTam. Slow, calculated, you know, both these teams showing so much respect for each other now, Chris. It's not just a simple, you know, win the initial and go straight into a triple cap. No, both teams are really trying their hardest to take every round opportunity they can.
Nicely done from TamTam, though. Looking solid here, has to be said, even with the roster change coming through. And I think, you mentioned it before, the Cougars factor. That was on full display in that execution last week.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Best player I've seen on Gears 5, I would say, as a standout. And I think that's one
definitely.
thing. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I feel as if execution offers. It offers that clutch ability, doesn't it? Yeah. Albeit it was 3v3, but at the same time, it offers those moments. Whereas I just kind of feel like Escalation doesn't, for the most part. Every now and then you do get the really close end around, but it's not as often as maybe as you get presented with the opportunity as you do in execution, at least.
Yeah, I think Escalation at its peak moments are incredible, but those peak moments often only come really in the big games like major finals, major winners bracket finals, loser bracket finals, LAN event final. That kind of stage is when the teamwork and the speed and the intensity ramps up to a point where you can really see it. Meanwhile, with execution, it's just natural to it. Even in a ranked match. I played execution last night, Chris. I was able to clutch up a 1v2. My teammate clutched a 1v3 in the same map, and it was just incredible. Still just a ranked match, but you still have that intensity even at that level of play, right? With that much on the line, just a simple ranked match. You can feel the intensity brimming and the heart rate rising and whatnot. And I think, it's a great selling point for Axie, and really, really good to see it back in the comp cycle.
Has certainly been a welcome addition. Swarm Domination taken in here, though, for PhantomT. We're going to add a round to their side of things. D, though, looking like it is going to be decapped, so there you go. It was Notorious finding all the kills on the other team, and, of course, on his own team as well, and that actually may well be it. Death Dancer with the cherry on top of the cake. That is round number 2 for PhantomT. 3-2 now. Nicely done. Just push their way forward, use the momentum they had behind them there just to make things count over towards this D point. Very nicely played. Waited for their moment and got their prize. 3-2, close game.
Important round that, of course. 3-2, a lot different to what could be 4-1. That is very important indeed, mentally, especially in this best of 5, right? We spoke about it at great length. Some of the teams in Europe oftentimes, recently have deflated over a best of 5 series. Usually accustomed to the best of 1, best of 3s perhaps before the introduction of the new modes. You definitely need a little bit more endurance with these modes, especially when you've got the head work of going from one mode to another.
Dragons will fall. PhantomT now making this push over towards A, and we'll get the better start of things. Kind of collapsing on F here. If number 3 doesn't win his gunfight over towards, I think, is green, obviously, things could get a little bit interesting here. PhantomT could be leveling things up now as the pressure is there. I don't think anyone's going to quite get there. Hydron just about gets that. Nice overextension from him coming on through. That will allow the rest of his team to come in off respawn, and it looks like they're heading over towards E to try and level this one out a little bit. Hydron trying his best to survive and does well to last as long as he did.
Yep, he did the hard work now just to keep them in the game. Bought time for TamTam to get off spawn. They've got arch control. Noto's got right hand there to defend the push from Ricardo. Just has to be very cognizant of the push when it does get attempted. Ricardo's gone around the right now. They're going on that down on Dragons. They do find the kill. Turning around very quickly indeed. Noto stuck on his own on Arch. Slaps needs to help out ASAP, but not able to get there in time. severely outnumbered. PhantomT, a lot better with the rotation here. And there's the cleanup on Slaps. Even the overextension is even started from Vision there. Hydrone again saving the day, though. Big 1v, buying time. But now, huge score deficit for this round, and it's a very important round at that. Can TamTam clutch up?
It's quite the deficit, isn't it, really? PhantomT really coming back into things over these past couple of rounds. Keeping you up to date with that other quarterfinal that is going on. If you don't have Bounce's stream up and running, 2-0 for Pains and the boys, obviously. Current champions, what, 5 weeks in a row now?
Yep.
Looking to get themselves into the semi-finals, and they've done so. That semi-final will go on at the same time as this one. This one, though, is going to be close. It has to be said. PhantomT should take this one away. I don't think anyone's getting over towards D that quickly, and that is going to be 3 apiece now. A couple of rounds in a row there for PhantomT. They've ground them out as best as they can, and, well, they come out on top. 3-3. Just feels a bit flat the past couple of rounds from TamTam. Not sure why.
Yeah, I think again, it's just both teams being so measured with their pushes and plays. I think this might actually change it now. Dragons immediately hovering over the cinema. Yep, there you go. Drop shot down at the 3-3 point. I think both teams are very well aware that they're pretty evenly matched so far on Escalation District. And so, Dragons ready to change things up at the drop of a hat. Drop shot, one shot there, Incense in the mix. It all comes down to this initial.
Slaps is just about got away with that one. Vision falls. Can he continue? He'll clean up onto Ricardo as well. The Incend there is solid, and Slaps will find another. Thanks to Dragons. Finding that Incend pick, if you like, and Slaps will get a hold of the drop shot. And now they're going to make it move over towards E. They'll be in complete control. Much more like it from TamTam. That initial, as you said, is crucial, and may well lead to a quick round win here. If Dragons got anything to say about it, there's one gone. Is he going to find the second? And Ricardo, not quite. Here comes the drop shot. That should clean it up. Now it's Saki. He's trying to waste as much time as possible. Good game management, if you like, from Sarks there. Can he make the push? Not quite. He's going to get dropped. Is the domination going to be denied? Yes, it is, by Death Dancer just crawling his way in. Vision could be the next on the chopping block, and is. That's TamTam 4-3 now. Brutally forced their way through after winning that initial, but well played.
Stunning shotgunning from Slaps there the entire round. 20 kills, by the way, in 7 rounds. You know, putting up huge numbers. He hasn't been standing out to us so far because it has been that close, and you know, there's not been that many triple caps and whatnot off initials, but he's definitely putting in the work, and the stats do show it. And that round there was literally all Slaps. Incend really played no part at all. It was just his shotgunning going off on that pillar on right hand. And now, those Incends literally being blocked out by both teams. TamTam, one initial could be the end of the first map. Meanwhile, PhantomT have to be absolutely flawless for 2.
Slaps first one through the door once again. There is a lot of people here from PhantomT inside a cinema. I think they've just about reopened in England, and my goodness me, they have just flocked to it. Ridiculous. 3 of them just in and around the drop shot there. Nicely done. They get away with their prize, though, and make the move over towards E. I still haven't been yet, Toby. I'm not keen on the whole mask for 2 hours. That has to be said.
Mask for 2 hours?
Yeah, well, that's it. You have to wear the mask when you go in there, obviously, so it's...
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Sorry, you completely lost where I was at with that one. That's fair.
No, but yeah, I haven't been out much, honestly, to wear a mask too often.
Too much rank play, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, returning to the gym soon though. I'll see what how a mask feels for that. But if I need to wear one, then so be it. I'm not sure if it'll be entirely comfortable nonetheless. Though.
We can continue the mask chat in a second, but TamTam look like they're about to close this one out by the looks of things. Saki, can he get his way in? Well, he can, but he's dead very quickly, and so is PhantomT's hopes of a map 1 win, as TamTam will close that one out. 5-3. Nicely done. 1-0 in the series. Eventually getting things rolling once again after what was looking like a bit of a comeback from PhantomT. But as I said, the win will go over towards TamTam. 1-0 for them. think that's a fair representation of how the game played out. Slaps with 22 kills and 12 deaths, very much leading the charge. And he really has stepped things up, has to be said. You know, we've seen Slaps come in the back end of last season. It didn't play well for X's. You know, it was on the X's squad, wasn't it? I think there was a chop and change towards the end for one of the teams. And Slaps was a big part of that, and he has been playing well from what I've seen so far, and that's a big game from him, has to be said. So 1-0 lead for TamTam, heading the execution and control is kind of where we see PhantomT's game start to come into it maybe a little bit more now. Toby escalation, it always kind of, I want to say it's been their crutch for a little while, hasn't it? Execution definitely feels where they are one of their strongest game modes.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was very important actually for TamTam. Clearly, these teams are a lot more neck and neck this week, as we were alluding to in that map, than in previous weeks. And TamTam needed to win that. Honestly, they really needed to win that escalation, because coming up with execution and control, PhantomT, yeah, they didn't have a very good control map the last time I believe we cast over them on the Nexus, but no, they've been very good on Xe, right? In terms of the maps, we've got Gridlock Xe next. You know, what a surprise. PhantomT want to play on it again after, what was it, 6-3, I think, last time? I'm gonna double check. 6-3 against XS, then you know who else?
XS, yeah. I don't think that was against TamTam. I think that was against X. But still, yeah. I mean, more to the point, it's against X's. So they're good at gridlock execution. Regency will be our third map. It's not one we've seen on the stream, as far as I'm aware.
And it's surprising, Chris, because of course the NA LATAM Pro League has recently just started up back again. Lots of pros and Rubix, of course, formerly coach of the top European team back when he's now coach of United, of course. He's been commenting on Twitter and a lot of the pros that control's very good. It's growing on us and we're getting used to it. But these guys, it seems like their favorite map is actually Regency for control. Every time I tune into a Pro League match, even an Emergence Days broadcast, for example, Regency's always on there. They have a pick of 4 maps, remember, not just 3, in NA LATAM. And as a result, clearly Regency is one of the more favored maps. And I think it's probably my favorite map. The teams I've scrimmed with, they like Regency as well. But at the moment in EU, it's either love it or hate it kind of thing. Is it too big? Is it too wide, etc., etc.? But I think over time, perhaps Regency will be will become a bit more popular in Europe, like it is with the NA LATAM players.
Well, we've got an extra little surprise this week. Not only have we increased the price pool, we've increased the amount of skins we're giving away by the looks of things. Team Phantom Overkill is now available for you guys to claim. We have another one coming later as well. So there you go. You tune in, you get 2 skins this week. How lovely are we? So there you go. Make sure you do claim via your quests, obviously on live.gearswar.com. If you are watching on twitch.tv, I don't think you can claim them. So make sure you go to the right website. The Overkill is now available. Get that in. And we've got another one coming before the grand finals. But yes, I think, moving in this execution, let's see how they do. But in terms of Regency, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen much of it at all. Obviously, I've heard from the players in terms of how it does play. It's a lot more punishing, I think, on the rotations, etc. It seems to be one of those where you can get yourself rotated nice and early. The setups are maybe a little bit harder to break. So, yeah, I think it's one of those things as well that's worth pointing out, as well as teams play control more. It tends to become a little bit more popular, which, well, yeah, we'll knock into that one again. Nonetheless, though, here we go into the execution on Gridlock and see which way this game is going to turn. You feel as if this is a must for PhantomT, but it is a map we have seen good play from them on.
Yeah, this is huge for PhantomT. They're now on the cog. They need to take advantage of how good they have been on this map. Even Ricardo in Snipe Tower has been a force to be reckoned with. And they've got right hand right now. This should be a round that they laser focus on now to take from TamTam. They will be able to get out of the Snipe Tower. And Ricardo will be able to get control of the snipe. No one's made a play on the boom shot just yet. You would have expected TamTam to make a play there, perhaps, after losing the Snipe Tower, but so far they've chosen to retake Snipe Tower, get the angle onto the boom, and actually it does open the way for Dragons to make the play. He picks up the quick pick of the boom shot, and he finds Saki, and now 3v4. Ricardo with snipe, can he do anything?
Rowdy will find a kill up top. Oh, pick on a Notorious, who's now going to be very, very weak. Has to back on down, surely. If not, well, he should be dead. Yes, he is. The damage just enough. Dragons will find a second, though.
Ooh, interesting. Saw Boom's gone. Vision has the angle
Yeah.
from Snipe Tower. Snipe for Ricardo down low, about to get the angle. Troubling times for TamTam. They need to make a play.
Good
And
shot.
right now, shots on the Dragon. Ricardo will roll back to make sure he stays alive and doesn't get 1v2'd or 2v1'd. And good thinking from him. Expect nothing less from Ricardo. Just continually going wide, trying to leverage that snipe as much as he can from a safe distance.
Vision gets a hold of the grenades as well. That could be big in the round, but he's going to fall. Ricardo, can he trade it? Yes, he can, but there we go. Slaps comes in with the final nail in the coffin. That will be a round over towards TamTam. That 2v2 went on for quite some time and ended very quickly. 1-0 now.
Nice round to start things off here. Lots of play through the through the arch, through the snipe tower. Both teams going back and forth. Making great work. And also both teams going for 2 snipe tower. You know, typically with what I found with scrims is kind of like the 3 low, 1 snipe tower has been the base, but looks like it's completely changed for these 2 top teams, right? 2 snipe tower, 2 boom. Ricardo's being pushed out this time. Of course, TamTam with right-hand advantage on the pillar. So they get the advantage in that fight. Nice push through the boom arch, mind you. Sarkster will find Slaps. Vision taking him down. And now it just leaves these 2 up top. Noto on his own with Snipe. He'll get taken down. And Hydrone left all on his own at plant pots.
Yep, that should be the round. You do well if you're Hydrone here. Well, that's one. Okay, well, I think if he finds the second there, things maybe get a little bit scary, but always crowded out in that scenario. Never going to be easy. 1-1 now.
Absolutely. And typically we don't see much of the way of variability in terms of strats for a lot of these teams in execution, but Gridlock has had a little bit more variety than others than, say, Checkout and Tomb that we've seen historically. Death Dancer, he is actually going to change things up. Instant pick of the quick of the frags.
Oh.
Slaps on the flank. Ricardo wins his 1v up top. Snipe for him, but the flank is in full motion. Slaps will get completely sniped in the back, though. Head ripped off his shoulders. Death Dancer in trouble. That check needs to come in yesterday, but Ricardo not able to find it. 1v2, and I believe with 1 boom shot remaining for Dragons.
Yeah, he's not in the worst spot possible. He does have them kind of cornered. I think if you're Dragons, you move to the left and try and get a bit of a different angle just to free things up here. Curious to see where the ring's going to spawn, though, because I think that's going to make a big difference to how this round will play out. Trying to get the angle, but they're aware of where he is. So an achievable 1v2 for Ricardo, this.
Yeah. Just 1 headshot or 1 body check to open things up for the push.
He's pushed aggressively, which I'm not too sure why.
He's just
Really
looking to find
better.
something.
Yeah. I think in this scenario, maybe keeping things at range would have possibly worked out a little bit better, but 2-1 to TamTam now. I think in that scenario, as I said, I think you've got to try and separate them in a sense, but you know, he's got the long shot there. I mean, I don't know how much you want to put into it, but at the same time, it's not a bad tool to have at range.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I think when the ring eventually pops up, it comes down to 1 shot, you know, whether Ricardo hits it or not. I'm not sure if a body check would be big enough, but let's have a look strat-wise.
TamTam now.
2v2 up top.
Oh, Dragons is going to get in and get out, not quite. Boom shot now available on the other side of things for PhantomT, but they may not need it. They just keep pushing forward. Nasha's in hand. Slaps is going to find 1, though, and you would have rather them maybe just played this one a little bit more sensibly. Slaps is going to push it. Knows he has the angles. Saki will fall. Slaps will get a hold of the boom shot, and, well, you would have liked to see that played out a little bit better from PhantomT. TamTam's 3-1 to the good now.
Yep. Very nice again. TamTam just sticking to their guns strat-wise. PhantomT trying different things. First to 6 means you can, you know, be a bit more adventurous and try a few more strategies within the round. But PhantomT do need to knuckle down very soon and start putting the rounds on the board and not let TamTam get away from them. 2v2 up top, it looks like. Ricardo pushed in straight away, but Death Dancer is nowhere near. The stuns are just perfect for TamTam. Now Vision forced to push. He's not going to be able to find that 1v. Dragons with the meat shield 2v4. Death Dancer will fall in the middle, and everything has crumbled now for PhantomT. That right there, Chris, is a lesson perhaps on how to play Snipe Tower on the weak side. From TamTam, the stuns just were perfect. Death Dancer was locked out. Ricardo was stuck pushing in on his own, essentially. And if you do commit that hard to a push, going that wide into Snipe Tower, you really need a teammate to be there. It essentially will just turn into a 2v1 as we saw.
TamTam now. Gonna get within touching distance, close this one out. Stuns in are good from PhantomT though. Trying to play the angles. Ricardo's going to be the first to drop though. How on earth does Hydron get in and get out like that and then help his team find the second as well? Notorious with snipe in hand. It has to be all in on the boom shot. Not going to happen. TamTam. Now walking through PhantomT in the game mode that we said could be relatively close and was kind of needed for PhantomT. We have seen, I believe, what was it, 6 rounds in a row? Once up against X's from PhantomT. Gonna need to do that again now. Well, just 5. Nonetheless, still difficult.
Yeah, that was pretty bonkers from Hydra in there, actually. PhantomT were much closer together in that 2v2. They had right hand. They were holding hands, essentially, ready for revives, but Hydra just able to close the gap and go for that give range, and it paid off massively. Much better again from PhantomT. They're very close. They're on the same page. Hydron trying to react by getting the nades in the center. Slaps his flank round again, but it's not paid off. Pushes down through Arch. And everyone rotating low, it seems like, for the kills. Saki able to get out with the boom shot though. And they also have Snipe Chris. It's a 3v3. PhantomT needs to make sure this round comes through. Noto just essentially running into the snipe. Not going to happen. This is an amazing shot from Ricardo. My goodness me.
The stars aligned for that one.
Essentially a Superman there, finding that kill. And there's the final kill of this round. Lovely job.
Very nicely done. Great shot from Ricardo, especially on the second one. Nicely done. 5-2, as mentioned. Much better there from the side of PhantomT. Locking in both of the main power weapons on the map is always a good way to start the round, of course. Very much helping things out. TamTam looking to get this one closed though as soon as possible. They do not want PhantomT to get that little bit of momentum behind them. Smokes out. Alright, maybe something a little bit different here. Notorious stunned up, and TamTam can't really make this push anymore.
3v4. Dragons finds Death Dancer. They are trading out though. Boom shot did get picked up from Slaps. Hydron on the flank though. Big flank. He finds 2. 3v1. Might have just sealed the deal for Gridlock there. And Saki will get boom shot. There you have it. TamTam, what a stunning performance on Gridlock. Probably the best performance yet, actually, round count wise, Chris. Even XS couldn't perform that well against, a top 4 team on this map in EGL Sundays. My goodness me. Well done, TamTam, and a very deserved map victory there, going 2-0 up.
Yeah, very, very well played there by TamTam. I think in that one for PhantomT, as we said at the beginning of the show, it was probably quite crucial that they did get that one in. Going into the Control and Regency, as I said, it's not a map we've seen too much in terms of broadcasts, but obviously some of the players enjoying it. Let's see if we can see a comeback here from PhantomT, but it kind of doesn't feel too hopeful in that respect. After what's happened in those 2 maps, relatively comfortable, especially map number 2 there for the side of TamTam. So heading into map number 3 on the Regency, you kind of would have expected that this is going to go that same way. I think for PhantomT, you can kind of look at it in the respect of, okay, Saki's just come in. Maybe that does change some things up when it does come to those execution games. Potentially, I don't know. Does he bring a wealth of experience when it comes to Control, potentially, Toby? I'm not too sure.
I think a little bit of experience. I don't think he's had as much experience as, say, Hydron and certainly Breaker back on Gears 3 in Comp Koth. But No, I mean, just looking at gridlock, right, from the roster change perspective, I don't think much change in the snipe tower, but that was typically where they were losing, right, PhantomT, because Hydra and I believe Noto were just doing such a great job of managing that area.
Yeah.
And it's a different gridlock as well. If you consider that pretty much all the rounds had two up top, bar the odd trick strat of the quick pick of nades, that's very different to what PhantomT have been used to, where they've been doing one snipe tower each time. Clearly something has shifted in the meta, if you will, of gridlock. Teams have been scrimming a bit more, and they found maybe two snipe towers a little bit better, because for both teams to do that every single round from the get-go, it's a wildly different gridlock than what we saw in previous weeks. Perhaps that played into it.
Yeah, it's one of those that as things do change, is going to help certain teams. It's going to be of the detriment to some others. That's kind of the way that things can lean, I suppose. Heading into map number 3, though, Control Regency. Do we see Root back yet for PhantomT, Toby, or is this done and dusted? Have we got our first finalist, do we think?
I just hope PhantomT aren't deflated again. Two maps down. Escalation was a close one, right? It was 2 rounds off. Gridlock, as we just mentioned, it was their strongest maps, mode combo essentially of the past several weeks. And for a 6-2 down on that one, it's probably not great for them, psychologically. Just had a roster change as well. They were probably really wanted to start off the week, the new roster strong, and things perhaps not working out as perfectly as they might have imagined. But so I'm just hoping that psychologically they're all there, because last time when they weren't, it wasn't that close of a Nexus game, shall we say? I believe that was against Access the last time we saw that. But no, it's Regency. Perhaps a different map. Perhaps they'll keep everything together and find their way. And if they have a good map, they're propelled straight into the new escalation, then we could easily have a game on our hands. And I hope that's what they're keeping in mind, right? They're good enough on escalation to beat them. They came pretty close on District. Hopefully they can keep it together.
Yep, well, I do believe we are loading into the game. So excited to jump into map 3 and the first Regency for me to cast. I presume it'll be your first Regency cast in that case as well. So you maybe know a little bit better than I do, though, as we head in to map number 3. Which way is this game going to turn? Is it time to close it out? Was this the route back for PhantomT? I wonder. No, it isn't, because, well, something's happened here, and we have been kicked out. So, we will figure out what's going on and jump back into the game very, very shortly. Not sure what happened there. I don't know.
Probably swaps. Probably swaps didn't go through. That's
Possibly.
all. And I'm sure they'll quickly adjust that, and we'll get straight back into it. But no, I don't think I've casted Regency yet. I've played lots of it though, and I think the one thing with this map in particular, compared to say District and Nexus, is that this is a larger map. The other two are considered small maps, and it really fundamentally changes in how the way it plays. I think even on 7-second respawn, right? Some teams have been scrimming with 10 and whatnot. Even with 7 seconds, Regency is a lot different because of the size. It means you have to play a bit more, slower paced. You need to make sure you go in waves rather than try and continue to keep chaos going and allow one player to just, run the map and keep staggering spawns, instead of going for that stagger, strategy and all out aggression and push their spawn side. Instead, you wait for your team and then you set up and then you make the play for a spawn or the hill. You very much play in a group rather than have individuals go off on their own and kind of like lone wolf the map a little bit and make huge plays as complete individuals. And so hopefully, just from a broadcast perspective, this will offer a new experience to a lot of viewers in terms of how Control plays, and it might be a bit more enjoyable, a bit easier to understand. As always, I will try and point out short spawns and all the any intricacies I've come across as I've been scrimming it myself, and hopefully it makes a lot more sense that way. And hey, enjoy Regency for the first time. I'm sure you guys will like it.
I'm sure they will. It's nice and bright, at least. Anyway, we can see everything that's going on. Obviously, we've got the little opening shots that we have. That's the first look I had a look at it personally when I was doing those, and it looks like a well thought out map when it does come down to Control. It does seem to kind of make sense as a very symmetrical map. It should really work out, shouldn't it? I couldn't imagine Control and Vasgar working that great.
Yeah, there's some maps.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, I mean, previously, if you remember, we used to have 5-second respawn timer on Control, right? Both in matchmaking and, in the tournaments when we started playing it. And checkout was one of the maps. Can you imagine a 5-second respawn checkout? Crazy. Because you can literally spawn and shoot across the map, right? The center of the map on checkout and just land people from spawn to spawn. And when someone's on nest, my goodness me, that is absolutely chaotic. A world apart in difference. From say this, and it's definitely something to keep in mind. The map really does matter on Control. Control and Koth historically has been a lot more picky on maps than the other two modes, and so when you're playing ranked and whatnot, just remember, might be 7 seconds if it's 300 like in comp, but some of the maps play a lot differently to what you'd expect from the comp maps.
Well, into the first tilt, course up towards the top side and try and lock in as many points as possible. There's, of course, PhantomT in control right now. We'll get these initial points off the middle hill, and, well, we'll hold it by the looks of things as well. It's going to be Death Dance against Notorious. Quite a lot on the line here. Notorious with some really nice shots, though, to open things up. And that should be the scrap time going over towards TamTam with around 30 seconds or so to go. Rotation over towards the next hill, though. It's all about this mid-control by the looks of things for teams here so far. Oh, that's a good shot from Hydron with the M-bar.
He has to be careful he doesn't necessarily lose the M-bar, but he does have to get up the staircase. Ideally, the next hill will be at nades, it looks like, just behind. No, in fact, it's top right. That's a little bit different to what I'm used to. I know the hills have been changing, the ring order, if you will, a little bit on Regency, Chris. We talked about it before. Slightly different in the esports settings compared to matchmaking everyone's been playing. So perhaps something for these players to keep in mind. Hydron, incredibly well played. Very, very good at spacing, shot hold wise. So much practice on this kind of meta, if you will, from Gears 4 comp tuning. And there, again, another kill. He still hasn't died yet, Chris.
No way.
There, he's going to get taken down, stuck in no man's land, flanked. Meanwhile, the rest of his team have done the work to get the hill. Short spawn not blocked. PhantomT, I'm sure, will be spawning up very close indeed. And there's the flank. They have to be quick if they can, but no. That player, who is that? The SK going off there. Ricardo. Staying alive for so long, buying so much time for his team. Essentially enabling PhantomT to retake that hill.
Don't think that got backpacked by Hydron either. Short spawn coming on through for TamTam, though, trying to make it work. Some big shots from Ricardo. We're going to hold this one down here. Death Dancer does have a hold the M-bar as far as I was aware, but he does fall immediately. Still 10 seconds left to go there for TamTam to pick up. He'll be within, 30 by the time we get over towards his next hill. But PhantomT, the first one's here. Slap's going the long, long way around.
Yeah, this is good. This is good from Slaps here. Making sure he can't get Secret Man, going all the way around wide, waiting for his team to get there, ready for the collapse. But PhantomT have staggered the spawns. PhantomT are the team of TamTam. And now, again, Slaps is going to get staggered at that point in time. Short spawn is not going to be in play for TamTam there. PhantomT instead will be pushing out a little bit, and I'm not sure why they aren't blocking that spawn. I'll be honest, Chris. Instead, they're going right to the back of the spawn instead of just going into the shock. Of course, the shock grenade location itself is where the short spawn is, but luckily for them, I don't think TamTam actually spawned up there. And so, PhantomT in an okay position to defend right now. Sitting all the way back. Hydron is sitting there now. PhantomT have pushed up probably just far enough to block this spawn. Hydron is secret manning. Perfectly played. Notorious, meanwhile, pushing through the front of the hill. Does get it down, but he's on his own. He's not able to pick up any more kills. And a battle for the short spawn. Ricardo will find it.
There's not a great deal of time left either on that hill, but nonetheless, the time looking like it is going to go over towards PhantomT, who have a pretty decent lead now, it has to be said. Looking good for them. Slaps is trying to position himself well for this transition over towards the next hill. Slaps now, all he can do with finding something, finds very, very little. The shock grenades are in on both sides of things over towards this Ember. Hydron going to fall. The gunfight's just not going TamTam's way here, and it's looking more and more like we are going to see a map number 4 potentially. PhantomT really starting to stretch their legs. It kind of has been a a love-hate relationship for Control from PhantomT. They've either went really, really close with teams on it or got blown out of the water. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do here in the long run. But it is a 100-point lead. Still 60 seconds or so left here as TamTam do get the breakthrough, but I don't know for how long that's going to be. Vision making the push through now, just moving forward. Dragons falls, but Hydron helps out. And is that going to be some good time on the board for TamTam for the first time in a while?
Yep, should be. PhantomT now just need to wait for everyone to get a spawn. I'm not sure why Death Dance is going so aggressively there on Noto when his team are only just coming off respawn. 30 seconds to go. Yeah, they need to make these plays count. Hydron full red, needs to revive. In fact, Dragons will shoot him away, unfortunately. Now players come off respawn. PhantomT with the advantage here. Surely numbers. Pushing up now. Dragons gets one. Looking for a second, can't find it. Completely traded out. Oh. Kills going back and forth for the last 10 seconds. Players need to start considering the rotate, actually. Right now is the time. And they do have the short spawn access as well. TamTam right in front of them. That shot grenade is the short spawn for the next hill. Hydron is there around the flank. Advantage TamTam for this first push. So it looks like Saki, just one other, is the only players there.
Well, that was a short spawn that came in. TamTam very, very close to it, but come around on the flank just to be a bit of a nuisance is Ricardo. He fell on the way, though. TamTam have played that very nicely. Let's see where the spawns do come in here. PhantomT, yeah. Miles away, and Dragons is there to get through first. Let's see number 2, Hydron. Has he made his way over just to stop the spawn there, I presume?
Yep.
Or to get the spawn for his team. Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, Hydron is definitely the anchor there. Or are the Dragons now, right at that shock. And he can also cover the center lane as well, which is an important spot. You can leave the rest of the players to focus on the front door. And right now, speaking of the front door, PhantomT have forced their way through. Hydron and Dragons regrouping, though, for the retake. And now 2v1, Ricardo stuck at the back on his own. The players will go wide. Well played indeed. Short spawn, I'm sure, locked down in just a second. Yep, TamTam do get that. And PhantomT, although not the longest spawn, they do get a long spawn through the garden. They need to push on through now if they want to go for these last 30 seconds on the hill.
These last 32 seconds will very much have TamTam in the lead if they were able to pick them up. 20 or so remaining now, and it doesn't feel like it's going to go over towards TamTam as the grenades start to run on through. Dragon's now trying to make something happen, but he'll do very, very well as he does indeed fall. A little bit of scrap time is going to go over towards the side of PhantomT, but what cost is that going to come at?
Again, it's really hurt them again. The awareness to spawns on this map is clear for me. TamTam have a huge advantage. They are blocking spawns. PhantomT aren't blocking any spawns that I've seen. Perhaps I've missed it on the cams that we've seen, but they're not blocking spawns. They're going for hills with not much time left. And it's surprising they're actually this close in score, to be honest, with how well TamTam have been playing. Nice body check. Death Dance is going to be dropped, though. He's pushed in on his own. No one's close enough to really follow up. Hydron, though, going around the corner, getting checked immediately by Vision. And Vision not able to close the gap.
Yeah, Notorious does well there. And I think, we said PhantomT had that really nice lead, and that's the only reason that things are in touch and distance right now for them. Dragons, though, going to find 2, I think, there in the end. As Slaps finds another of his own, and now they're just forcing them away. Still a close spawn here for PhantomT, though, and they're not far away. I do see what you mean, though. On this map, it does seem to make sense. It's all about these rotations, getting there nice and early. Dragons is being dealt with by Ricardo, who's deleting people who he's running into. Look how close that spawn was, though, for PhantomT. 15 seconds remaining on this one. TamTam will break the 200-point mark, and it's about this rotation back towards, well, the beginning. I think that's first rotation of hills done and dusted. Should we call this arch, Toby? What do they call that? I can see there's an archway there.
I kind of call it front door, to be honest, of the whole place, because it reminds me of Hotel a little bit, this map. I did a long Twitter thread, if you will, comparing this map to Hotel when it first came out. And there's so many similarities. It's a lot bigger in ways, but I think overall Regency actually improves upon Hotel in many, many significant ways. So I was really happy actually to see this in the comp cycle coming through eventually. And if it was a little bit smaller, I think it'd perhaps make a great XE map as well.
It's a good breakthrough from PhantomT, though. We'll get a hold of control, and See TamTam now spawning out on red side of the map. Formulating their push maybe as PhantomT do take the lead. Very close game though. Has to be said, PhantomT very much in the driving seat over the first 3 hills, but since then TamTam have dominated each hill. And that's why things are so close. PhantomT had a 100-point lead. It disappeared very quickly. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. I think Hydron's controller may be disconnected at least.
Yeah, unfortunate for him.
Yeah, Dragons will follow as well. We can see Hydron is moving on the map though, so things should be good. Maybe it's just a controller disconnect there, but the rotation coming in for the next hill. You can see them setting up.
Oh, careful. Saki's on his own. I'm not sure where PhantomT have gone. Oh. To be honest, there was one in spawn. Death Dancer is there, thankfully, coming straight off spawn. But this is the short spawn, right, Chris? You know, if you're going to push one side, then you need to make sure you commit as a team. There we go. PhantomT do have the short spawn there. Thankfully, Notorious wasn't able to push forward and block in time. Meanwhile, though, TamTam, for their spawn, they've been able to get access to the M bar.
It's a good shock.
Oh, that was close. Battles on 2 fronts here. One to the left. Hydron just essentially getting a 1v2 on the right. That could be sealing it for this ring. An all-important hill of that with 50 seconds to work with when the game is this close, approaching that 300 mark.
Yeah, that's massive. Very well executed there by Hydron. Look at that shot from Dragons as well. And now, I think, you know, if you're TamTam, you've got free reign to try and start rotating over towards the next hill. PhantomT still having a look at it, though. We're inside now. Saki going to be mowed down. The rest of the team here to help him up, though. Dragons, I love that angle. He's done so well to cut it off. He's buttering them up just before they even get there. And I think he's going to maybe transition towards the next hill already. Big heads-up play from Dragons.
15 seconds. That's all. Took a fair amount of time for PhantomT eventually to push that hill, and they've not got many points for it as a result. Vision's going to be dropped thanks to TamTam's early rotation from the back. Dragons is there, but positive for PhantomT. They've been able to push back through Ember to get the short spawn up top. But they do need to eventually make the play for this hill. Awesome shock on Dragons, forcing him out. Surprised didn't even get downed earlier. Look at this for an angle. PhantomT all collapsing from the front. Hydra on the back, though. Flank from him. He gets one. Does get taken down following, though. Leaving it down to Slaps. Nades are thrown in. As the dust settles.
2v2.
It's essentially a 2v2. And Slaps with another kill as well.
Saki's the one who actually cleans it up in the end. Massive from him. Notorious gets in, though. Short spawns are there for TamTam now. Good shots by Notorious. Can he keep this up as well? Death Dancer in front of him is going to get dealt with, but is the rest of the team going to be here to help? Oh, they went in for the revive. Not going to happen. Hydra now with some good shots. Can they clean this up? TamTam looking good for them, and that's a big flurry of kills. 47 seconds here as well. More than enough to close it out.
Ooh. Nervy times now. Yeah. TamTam can win off this hill. PhantomT, though, with a break. It could buy enough time to force it to another hill, but they do need to make it work. Noto will find the down in the middle. Oh. 2 holding the flank. Dragons and Slaps, perfect from them. All going in from the front door now. Down to Vision to get 1. Ricardo gets 2.
Oh my god.
And they save this hill for now. 20 seconds to go on this one. They will get up to close to 290. It'll be about level score.
Can they get in? Oh, I was thinking they were going to push it for the final 11. They kind of hesitated a little bit, and now it's the rotation over towards next. Dragons is going to fall there. PhantomT in control here, it has to be said. I think this is their game to lose.
I think you're right there. Ember picked up the shock as well. Noto's just got the nades though, so
yeah.
That's the access from underneath. A hard push to make, but they do need to collapse on all sides. Death Dancer. They're starting to turtle up in the back. Our PhantomT, smoke gone out. Saki downing his teammate in the process. PhantomT crumbling all of a sudden. Noto gets one, make that a second. Cleaning up the kills now. Vision might have bought a little bit of time. I think that's it. 10 seconds. PhantomT immediately crumbling on the defense. An amazing push from TamTam 3 seconds ago. Saki has been able to block it for the time being, but that's all she wrote. 12-second difference in the end, points-wise. And PhantomT, they had great opportunities, but TamTam with a little bit better spawn control and a little bit better rotations, earlier rotations at that, were able to make the points come through for them in the end. Fantastic stuff. And the slaying-wise, Hydron and Dragons slaps, all hitting the 40 elimination mark. Well played from TamTam.
Very, very well played from TamTam in the end. But it has to be said, it feels as if that's one that PhantomT let slip a little bit, especially with that transition up towards that next hill. It's that break that comes through on the second to last hill that we see, and I'm not sure how the team kill comes through, but nonetheless, I thoroughly enjoyed that one in terms of how things worked in terms of rotations. It seems to be heavily punished if you are not there first, which I suppose some players have talked about a little bit to say, oh well, you get punished too much if you don't rotate, but that's kind of the game, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you need to be able to judge when to push for the scrap time when there's not a lot of time left. You need to judge when it's best to make the push for spawns. What's your best scenario? And that's kind of what players have to kind of figure out on the fly. It is an interesting game mode, and I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Yeah, big Regency fan. Like that from them. But also a big fan of how well TamTam played that one. Fantastic stuff from them. Do believe we have the bracket ready to show you to see how things are sitting as well. But no, we don't. Never mind. We are going to go for a quick break, and we should have the grand finals coming up shortly. As soon as the other semi-final is done, we're ready to go. We will be back with the grand finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the EGL Open Series, split number 3, week number 6, and we are not jumping into the finals like I promised. Sorry about that. We are actually jumping in to more semi-final action. The other side of the bracket was a little bit behind, and me and Toby are going to jump in for map number 3 between XXs. What did we call them? We called them Massive last week, didn't we?
Massive, yeah. I guess that's their name now, right? Massive.
Yeah, and a new team that's kind of been formulated here, Toby, who seem to be doing quite well. Just losing out on the execution 6-5 there. Of course, it is Mystique's and his new team with Zenji and the boys as well. It's an interesting little team, Toby. We're going to be heading to map number 3. They are 2-0 down, but both games have been very, very close.
Very interesting team, yeah. I think a lot of players in Europe have been aware of the up-and-comer Saitama, right? I think it was you and Fru, actually, who casted over some incredible plays from him a while back now, maybe 2-3 months ago. Where he was really going off on EGL Sunday, right? And he's known amongst a lot of the top players in your Noto arenas that we were talking about earlier with the Nasher only matches and stuff. He's very, very good. Is this player incredible? In fact, he's really biggest up and coming easily in Europe as of recent times. And he spends most of his days, Chris, playing with Lil Bounces and Pains and others, right? And Banged and all these top players in those the shotgun lobbies. So everyone has been very aware of Saitama. He's on people's radar. And that's why pretty much how he's ended up with these four around him, right? Zenji, I don't think one are playing a huge amount just at the moment. So Zenji is playing with other players. But Nestiques, of course, as you mentioned, straight out of PhantomT, he's now playing with these guys. Slazen, straight out of Zenex, of course, that arch rival, if you will, between those two teams. Slazen's grouped up with these. And so you have a potential new top team contending now. Of course, they've got top 4 because they made the semi-final today, but they are very much contending for that new 4th position that's opened up since Zenex has split up. And honestly, looking at the players in this roster, could even be a lot better than Zenex long term just because of that raw skill factor.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we were watching KRIMCEZ stream because obviously by the time we ended this one, they'd already started into map number 2. We asked about map number 1. It was very, very close. Apparently a 5-4 game on escalation specifically, obviously over towards the XX's team. Massive. And then we were seeing an execution. Unfortunately, Massive were 5-3 down, came back, win that 6-5. So that's going to be a bit of a killer heading into Control, which we should be jumping into very, very shortly. We kindly asked KRIMCEZ to just take his time on loading up this lobby because we would be jumping in. I can see they're changing stuff around on the stream now. It's good to keep an eye on how things are going on that side of things. Hopefully they get the weapon changes correct here, boys. We did notice there was one that was incorrect on the previous game, but nonetheless, it was a fun one. But I'm curious what map we're going to be heading into. I don't know if we can see which map we'll be jumping into. I can't quite say. It looks like it's going to probably be District based off KRIMCEZ's stream, so that'll be an interesting one when we do jump in. I mean, look, you would very still much expect Massive. Sorry, I'm going to keep calling them X's. You would expect Massive to really come through and shine in this mode in particular. They've looked really, really good on it, it has to be said, over the past few weeks, and they've been consistent on it. I don't think I've seen them drop a control so far. They've dropped executions, and I think that's where they'll kind of be looking as they go forward. They'll be going up against TamTam in the final if they do win this map specifically. Do we think they're closing out in 3 here? The first 2 maps were close.
I think so. I think you'd have to predict that way because simply Massive is the best control team in Europe right now. It might not be their strongest mode. You might argue Escalation is that, but they are by far and away the best control team, right? As it stands with the weeks that we've seen. They've beaten all the rest of the teams pretty much every time they've played. Yes, they've had very close games, a 5-point game with PhantomT once on Nexus, but you can't vote against them statistically off that. But saying that, Zenji, of course, from the 1A team, they love control, scrim plenty of it, very experienced is he on that. And Saitama, I've been scrimming loads with him on control. I know how much he's played. Nestiques, of course, from the PhantomT, less practice, admittedly, if we go through all the players. Slazen, of course, coming from the Zenex roster, who've played a little bit more on top of that. So maybe, just maybe, they can leverage that slaying power. PhantomT, of course, came within a 5-point difference before Nexus, going on to District, assuming it's that. It's another close range map. It kind of plays a little bit more similarly, right? Unlike, say, Regency, yep, District it is. So maybe, just maybe, with that experience that they do have on control as individuals and with that insane slaying power they have, perhaps they can cause an upset here on the control.
Perhaps. Let's see if things can start turning around. What are we going to call them then? Because KRIMCEZ just chilling. Yeah, something not right, obviously. So we should be jumping into this one in just a second. Once again, what are we calling them?
Have they tried to spell jelly baby differently? I don't know. Like,
It's a what? Matt had a night. What? Oh, it's a TikTok trend. Okay. You see, obviously, we're not down with the kids like Matt is. Big into his TikTok, I heard. Jalebi baby is what they've called themselves.
Yeah.
That's going to be a difficult one to say on stream. At the same Jalebi baby. No, that's going to be quite Jalebi.
It's
Matt,
not
are
going
we
to
saying
work,
this
mate.
correctly? He seems to be the professional on this one. You don't know.
We don't know here at EGL, and we just I don't use TikTok. I don't have it installed on my phone. Do you use TikTok, Chris? Are you a fan?
Not in the context, not in the context of using it to go scroll through the normal stuff. Upload a little bit for EGL here and there, but as Matt would coming out, maybe need to do a little bit more. No. So either way, the team name is going to be a one that we're going to have to navigate over. We'll get there in the end with that one. I wonder if anyone else could come up with a better team name for them in the chat. I'm quite happy to dub them such.
Yeah. What are we thinking?
I am curious. We'll be jumping back into map number 3 in just a second, as soon as possible. But as I said, let us know about the team name change that potentially could ring on through here, just to make things easier, maybe a little bit for us, in fairness, because it's not necessarily the easiest one to say. It's very, very hard to say in a serious sense. Imagine if this gets down to what? 295. Scream out and Jalebi baby, I've won it. It's kind of a little bit more difficult. But yes, okay. We should be loading in just a second. I believe some of the weapon swaps are maybe incorrect, and we will be jumping back in a moment. But we are expecting very much Massive to get through this one, 2-0 up in this series right now. A little bit of a bonus map for you before we do jump into the finals. But as mentioned, we do expect it to kind of end here. It has been a very good performance from Massive so far. They look good in the second map that we've seen of it on Crimson stream, of course. We were commentating during the map number 1 in that respect, so we didn't get a chance to see it. But Zenji coming in the chat saying should have been 2-0 to us at this moment. Yeah, it's tough. We did see the end of map number 2 there specifically, so it's we can understand why he's saying that at least, because it could have been very, very well. It was very, very close. They were 5-3 up. You got to kind of close that one out. Where you've got a minimum of 3-4 rounds coming up next. You need one yourself. It's not ideal. So we should be jumping in a second, and well, let's see if the comeback can start. Maybe if they were that close in the first 2 maps, then maybe things can turn around potentially. But we know how good Massive have been on Control, Toby. It is going to be very difficult to stop them.
Hugely so. I think key to victory for these guys, I think we talked about it last time, maybe in the last 2 weeks, each time, is that the fact is Massive keep starting off stronger than the rest of the teams they play against. They typically get like a 80-point lead, 80-0 lead early on. That's kind of like the first third of the round done and dusted. And it's only after that, the say teams like PhantomT, TamTam, 1A as well, historically, that they've been able to get points back. And by the end of the game, they're pretty close, aren't they? Teams are able to bring down that 80-point advantage down to like a 30, 40, 50 point. But of course, Massive then just have that cushion to make sure they win the map. You know, if you can hit them hard early, if you can rotate early, get the first 2 rings solidly, you know, win team fight after team fight, and really get yourself, you know, hyped up and motivated for the rest of the round, then perhaps you can actually beat them. You know, they are beatable. PhantomT proved that, you know, with it coming in within 5 points of doing that. But it's just a fact. It's just a factor of being flawless, you know, from the get-go. Otherwise, you just can't beat them because, you know, Massive are going to be essentially flawless or have that extra juice in the tank from, you know, say little bounces or pains to go off and clutch up later on if they aren't anything but perfect.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just laughing away to myself. The Moobot coming through with a well-timed EGL now on TikTok, so make sure you do jump that one hilariously. We should be loading into this one, I've been told. We should be ready to go into map number 3. We're just double-checking that the settings are ready to go on District on Control. It sounds like they are. Right, here we go. In the Control, on the District, and let's see if Jalebi Baby can get this one done. If I'm saying it right or not, there's another question, but here we go. This is going to be the first one to go for that Togbo. That may well help them towards this initial fight over towards the cinema. Crimson's and Bouncers just about getting things done here. It seems a bit harder to necessarily lock some of these hills in. This first hill is never the easiest to do it on anyway. It's not necessarily as clear-cut as these transitions as what we've seen on Regency, at least, Toby.
Yeah, very much so. They're used to the team fight at the start from Escalation, right? The cinema fight. So both teams are very much in a position to play it as so, but retaking is a very unique thing to control, actually. You know, very rare that you have 4v4 on this one end of the map. Great shot from Slazen, though. Crimson's crumbling. That leaves a 4v2, and it makes it very easy to push onto Cinema when you do have the numbers, just like any other hill. And so, can they take advantage? Bounces with the double to keep them in it, buying time. Can Slazen come in and save the day? KRIMCEZ has bought enough time, though. There's Pains on the regroup, and unfortunately, Jalebi perhaps a little bit too slow there, getting the kills in that 4v2. But they will start looking towards the next hill instead. Good
start by both teams, to be fair. More so, really. So massive. Fantastic stuff from them. Lock this one in. Jalebi Baby have kind of been there. It's been a gunfight here or there. The transition for them is here. And they lock it in, though. Crimson's just doing his best to put damage down, and he can do that so well with his ball target range. Good shots coming through, helping to no end. Fantastic stuff there. And it has to be said, a lot of those shots going through, putting down a lot of damage, and it makes it very, very different for Jalebi Baby to do a great deal. Massive. Well, truly in control of this one. Well, Bouncer is going to flash himself, unfortunately. Seemed well prepared, and well, okay. Speaking of well prepared, Jalebi Baby didn't have a clue that Bounces was there as Pains finds two. Disgusting from him once again. Surely it's not 300-0 on the cards. How has Bounces even found one there? Runs into three, fires his shotgun, and well, he found a kill.
Okay, I'm not sure if he actually played for a reaction shot or an up A, but the kill came through as if it was an up A. I'm pretty sure he bodied someone in his face right there on that left pillar. Stunning stuff. I think Pains and Bounces really are just the players at the edge of the meta, if you will, the shotgun play in Europe currently, just finding out what is actually possible. Because every week they just seem to surprise us with some of the shots they come out with. Absolutely insane. Pains again with another kill. And now 4v3, Bounces down in the process. And Pains able to take another one down. And there's the second kill coming on through. Lovely job from Massive. Again, look at the score crest, top left, 100-0, despite the opportunities for Jalebi to get the original hill right on that 4v2 push. Despite the early rotation, they have not been flawless, and Massive are looking incredible as a result.
Pains is going to be alive and kicking. Bouncer sacrifices himself for it, but wow, I mean, Jalebi Baby do not have a point yet. Spawning out as well. Not ideal. If you're crazed and co, you can hold this middle of the map. It seems the spawns are a little bit punishing on this one. 120 is about to be hit, and this might want to be might be one of the quicker games of control that you're ever likely to see.
I mean, right now.
I mean, yeah.
It is the Pain show. 2 downs, right? They're getting kills left, right. Nothing extravagant in terms of power weapon play. It's just been all shotguns, and the rotations even haven't really needs to come in for Massive. It's just their retakes have been spot on. 30 seconds to go, mind you. Of course, the next hill will be the center hill, so you might as well actually play for this. You know, oftentimes setups aren't too solid on District in the middle hill, so perhaps a bit more valuable to hold on to the scrap time, if you will. Curry's fighting for it, but Jalebi will actually hold on to that there. With that talk, though, maybe, just maybe, they can snowball this into another push and another hill cap down low. Awesome stick from Zenji under the shin of KRIMCEZ. Is going to get up 8 immediately, though. Massive, overwhelming, as always, as they wolf pack through the center. And they are hunting for kills right now.
It's just so difficult for the Jalebi Baby to do a great deal, isn't it? What on earth are they supposed to do here? They have kind of just been slaying off the map, haven't they? Completely slayed off the map. 140 points or so. And I think, you know, for Jalebi Baby, you can sort of say it's not a massively practiced team together.
Yeah.
And they'll have to maybe put some time in on control if you really do want to match up with a team like Massive. And I think for them, they've come close in the first 2 maps. That's kind of where you can sort of say, right, okay, yeah, our game is there or thereabouts in that scenario.
Ooh.
We need to make sure that we are maybe getting some time in on control. Ains is there after KRIMCEZ with a flurry. Reyes, can he trade it out? No, but those bouncers can. Still a good 30 seconds or so left. This, how on earth his bouncers killed him around that corner? My goodness me. Saitama was the first to fall, and well, nearly slays and following. Oh, there's his head gone. My goodness me, it has been non-stop all the way through. Pains finds Zenji, and just high level, isn't it?
I think this middle hill just shows exactly what's going on right now in control for these two teams. The key to the key to victory for Jalebi Baby was literally to just win off raw skill, right? To be able to snowball from kill to kill and be able to push the blue and green rooms like Massive have been doing in order to take them down. They have the prerequisite experience as individuals in the mode, but they don't have the chemistry built up or the teamwork to come close to what Massive have been working with. But sadly, it's been literally the opposite team overperforming perhaps individually. Pains and Bounces are as good as ever. Pains is pulling off crazy plays like that. And they've just been letting loose, getting really fast and up close and personal in the faces of their enemies. And as a result, it's literally just stagger central for Jalebi. Pure staggers over and over again as Pains continuing to push anything he possibly can, getting those close shots in. And as a result, Jalebi just haven't had anything to work with here to make any thorough plays. Just staggered constantly. Zenji perhaps shouldn't even be this close. Should be waiting for his teammates now. He's so far behind, he's just not even going to bother running on that specific team fight. TamTam was there, though, to pick up the new torp boat. And perhaps 3v3 now, with the short spawn, they can make a play.
Let's see what he can do. I mean, they're kind of like fish in a barrel there. Really, the topo is to be utilized here. Mystique's taking down KRIMCEZ there. Probably stopped the stick coming on. I mean, you got to hit that. Don't know if that's just maybe a difficult shot. And, well, Saitama will not want that one to be replayed back anytime soon. Zenji. Oh, he's done very well to find 2. Well, to find 1. Never mind 2, actually. Falls down, but, I mean, realistically, we're kind of clutching at straws a little bit here for Jalebi Baby. They are kind of being trounced a little bit here.
I think a lot of people say it can be very difficult to clutch on control, when you're so far behind, but the way I think of it as is if a team is capable of going, 250 to 50, then surely the other team is also capable of doing the same thing, right? It's actually possible, right? It doesn't matter if you've done it the first time or the second time. All it is a question of momentum and the rotation off the the supposed hill when the pendulum swings, if you will. The question is whether a team actually has it in them to be able to fight back against a strong, roaring team. That's where the difficulty can come from. But it's certainly not impossible, as some people let on. What really matters at this point in time is simply that Massive have never lost in control, and they are just playing out of their minds, And they've got such a buffer to work with that Jalebi have to be incredibly effective in all of their plays.
Just continuing on as Bounces and Pains gets a hold of the tugboat. Zenji in control here with 30 seconds to go. It kind of feels like Massive are just slaying in the middle of the map. Jalebi Baby, though, will start to get some time yet. You can see they're all just sort of hitting mid-map. Just a consistent fight. And now this is where the transition is going to come through. Oh, dearie me. Bounces can only really be stopped by his teammates. Flash out, Pains in. And there's another kill. I mean, they're not jumping on the point at all here. They're just going for next. I'd argue they could have maybe finished it there, but it was quite, maybe not quite as close as you would have liked. I mean, I have not seen a gunfight go in the favor of Jalebi Baby in quite some time, Toby. This is surely going to be it, and
yeah,
kind of wish we just stuck on a break, to be honest. Yeah.
I think it's been great to check in with the players.
What is that?
KRIMCEZ gets 3! Make it a 4th. Well, he's taking out his teammate, by the way. No problem there. 299, it will come on through the final win. Massive win in incredible form, just over 10-minute mark. Does District close out on, and that was just stunning from Massive. Really, really well played as individuals, and of course the team. 14 caps for bouncers. Only one break was necessary, as they simply got so many hills from the get-go. 47 kills for bouncers. I don't think we've seen that many kills in Control Comp just yet.
Yeah, that was quite something. So once again, the boys on Massive will advance through to the grand finals. Incredible stuff again. Control, it just kind of looks like their wheelhouse. They look so good on it, and are very, very difficult to beat. But can they be beaten on the other side of things when we do get to this grand final? I don't know if they can, but maybe we do have a good one coming up. I don't know, Toby. I don't know whether you think it can happen or not, but Massive do look very good.
Very good. And I think, time and time again, actually, Bounces and Pains have come out and said publicly, hey, we prefer Control to Xe, which is surprising because oftentimes the majority say, hey, we prefer Xe, right? We used to play in that competitively. It was only in Gears 3 that Koth had Koth as a comp mode. The rest of the games had Xe, so a lot of players prefer Xe. But no, Pains and Bounces prefer Control, and I think that plays into it there. They just love going off of Control. They do like it as a competitive mode, which is surprising again to a lot of top players. PhantomT have admittedly said they prefer Xe and Eska, and it shows in their gameplay too. Just in the practice component. But clearly, there on District that we just saw. Their heads were very much in the game for Massive. Perhaps the comebacks on the first and second map in particular, 5-3 down, coming back to 6-5. That really helped them momentum wise. Likewise, the opposite for the pickup team. Perhaps it's a new full team, who knows? But they definitely performed very well, despite how the maps turned out in the end.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at the bracket to see how things have broken down this weekend so far. Of course, into the grand final we go. Massive, KRIMCEZ, or Massive as we have been. That was a KRIMCEZ. Either way, Massive going against TamTam. Same grand final as what we had last week. TamTam a little bit different, though. Of course, no Cougars this week. We've got Notorious in there instead. Is that going to help them? Is it going to hurt them with how Cougars played last week? I'm going to go maybe potentially with the latter, but Massive against TamTam is what's going to be coming up very, very shortly in the grand final of week number 6. Still 2 more weeks to go, though, so if you have enjoyed what you've seen here, get yourself signed up at egl.tv/Gears5, and, well, come and join us. Of course, we've got a big prize pool coming up for the grand finals of the season, which is going to be coming up in a few weeks' time. Still 2 more weeks of regular play to go, though, but we need to find out who's going to be the winner of week number 6, and we will find out after the short break. We'll see you then. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the EGL Open Series, split number 3, week number 6, and we are into our grand finals. It's going to be massive, taking on TamTam once again. Bit of a different roster for TamTam this time around, Toby, but it should be a good game nonetheless.
Absolutely. TamTam had a very good semi-final. It's safe to say they did a very good job, actually, of winning 3-0. It's a huge result for them map-wise. Yeah, it was a little bit closer, wasn't it, than on some of the maps than perhaps TamTam are accustomed to. We were alluding to it on map 1. The roster's perhaps a little bit closer, and both having new players. A -1 for TamTam. And of course, previously Saki was new for PhantomT, but when you look at the maps, you should be very happy with them, especially on that gridlock, taking down PhantomT, who have beaten Access on that even. They've had a great warm-up. They're clearly playing well. -1 doesn't seem to have hurt them. Perhaps they can bring it to Massive, yeah.
Potentially. But before we do delve into this grand final, we have another skin to give away, and it is now ready to go. The Team Phantom marks there. They say, it's a little bit different. There you go. I know Toby's got them all at this point, but why not get in for this one? Of course, we already give you the overkill early on this evening. Make sure you get your quest done. For both, of course, yeah, there you go. Markser. Fantastic. Lovely stuff. Thank you to TCA for providing these for us to give away. We know you like to come in, hang out, get all your skins, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday after the grand finals, of course, which is going to be coming up in just a second. Let's talk about this series specifically. We've got the maps already ready to go. It's going to be Training Grounds on Escalation, Gridlock Execution, Nexus Control, then Asylum Escalation, and Checkout Execution if we do need it. Do you think we need either one of those 4th or 5th maps, Toby, or do you think that Massive just walk through like they have been doing quite often?
Well, historically, right, Massive have been able to win within 4 maps, right? Pretty much every single time. I don't think, we haven't seen a single final map 5, right, in a grand final just yet. But we've seen plenty of them across the pond, mind you. So they are, they are possible. They are very common, in NA LATAM. So it's definitely not impossible to see. But the question is, are Massive going to let one go that far? Today, I don't think so. I think it's just based on how we've seen them play. Just the element of -1, although it doesn't seem to have hurt them too much, TamTam in the semi-final. I think that will show up a little bit more against a team like Massive, who seem to be playing very, very well. I think my prediction for this would be, I think a 3-1 perhaps is fair. If TamTam can just sneak an Xe or whatever it might be, of course. Xe gridlock second map. Good opportunity, I think, for TamTam to really perform. They won 6-2 against PhantomT. It's definitely the weakest map and mode combo, surely, for Massive at this point in time, right? Losing to PhantomT before. Yes, they've lost Checkout a number of times. Maybe, just maybe, Checkout being last map. Maybe there's potential for TamTam to take this, but it's going to be a tough one for sure. They need to win that gridlock for sure.
Yeah, but as you said, we've seen them against PhantomT, who've notoriously been very good at gridlock. Can they go in there and get things done there? I think for PhantomT, though, wasn't on Steaks who was making that snipe push every single time. Maybe not having him there for that gridlock could have potentially hurt them. But at the same time, for TamTam, you get a positive win on that map. You got it in the grand final straight after as well. I think Training Grounds is potentially going to be an issue, but it could be close. Nexus is the 3rd map. Is kind of where we have seen once again Massive have looked so good on that control. So I would say you absolutely choke the control up if you are on the side of TamTam and sort of say, right, okay, it's going to be a super difficult one to win. These other 4 maps, though, that's where we have to try and concentrate. You only need 3 to win a series. Everything doesn't rely on the control, but it is a nice tool to have, of course. And I wonder if some teams get, which if you practice control so much, it can be kind of very swingy. You can take an execution, take control, all of a sudden the series is looking nice. So I think that's one thing, and this is not necessarily going off on a tangent, but maybe going down maybe a bit of a rabbit hole. And what I liked about the 3 modes, personally, is that it means you have to be a lot more diverse. You can't just be that one-trick escalation team as we have. Well, not seen teams be that one-trick escalation team, but all the way through. If you're not good at escalation, you might be good at something else, and that's where we can see series kind of take over. I mean, you become a very sort of prevalent in one game mode in particular, especially one of the ones that we play twice. So say you become great at execution and you can guarantee 2 maps a series, then all of a sudden you're in a really good spot in the best out of 5. You just need to nick one of the other 3, and then all of a sudden you're kind of flying and looking good. So I think that was one of my queries around when the 3 modes were introduced. Are teams going to concentrate on one in particular? Or are they going to just spread themselves maybe a little bit thin across the 2 new game modes whilst kind of keeping that escalation knowledge? It's an interesting one to kind of take your view on, Toby.
Absolutely, it's a in terms of the practice one. Let's hold on that for a second. I spoke to and scrimmed a lot against 1A, and admittedly, they immediately had the strat of, we've got plenty of practice and escalation. We know what our strong maps are. We know what our weak maps are. And we clearly know what our competitors' strong maps are as well from scrimming against them and getting to the semi-final over and over and over again. So what they said is, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to focus all on execution and control. We're really enjoying the new maps at the moment, every single one. And all we just want to do is play it. And so they've gone against that. They've not gone against the grain of what they are currently enjoying. They focus on the 2 new modes to try and get the advantage there and set themselves apart from other teams who are admittedly perhaps relying a little bit too much or for too long on escalation and just assuming we'll win escalation and then we'll go from there. I think that's been it's clear as day, right, between these different teams where their strengths are already and how much practice has been going into their separate modes. All the top teams have continued to be as good at escalation as they once were. Like, no one's really moved in that hierarchy, if you will. If you think, oh, who's going to win escalation, who's going to win this, typically, and who's going to win what map, typically you get it right, based on history. But you look at, say, Pains and Bounces just there, and Massive, they admittedly prefer control to Xe, and it perhaps shows in the map results where they do a lot better on control. They're the best control team in Europe right now. Also happen to be the best escalation team, which carried on from the last split, but they're not as good on Xe, which they admittedly don't like as much. And, it kind of shows there. They've lost checkout, they've lost gridlock, while they've never lost to control and had some very good performances in control. Meanwhile, we were just commenting in the break, of course, with TamTam against PhantomT. PhantomT admittedly haven't enjoyed, control as much as the other top teams, perhaps less so than any other team actually in the top 4, right? But they have a lot of experience in execution. That is shown in their performances against these top teams. And TamTam have some experience on control, Koth with Gears 3, and they were playing very, very well in Regency there. We were just talking about it. That the rotations were on point. They were blocking spawns. Meanwhile, PhantomT weren't really blocking spawns at all, were they? And it just is like a big chasm in terms of how they were playing that on Regency, which was surprising to me, actually, in terms of how close the score was. PhantomT had to really outplay and overplay in the other areas to compensate where they were missing out on the basics. So clearly, a lot of the different teams separating themselves already with the 3 modes, and we're only 6 weeks into the new 3-mode setup.
Yeah, it is very interesting. There's also a really interesting message in the chat, Toby, of what's your favorite Coldplay song? We've been asked. I don't know why that's come up. A bit of a random one, has to be said. I would say Fix You Are Yellow has to really be it.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah,
that's a classic.
It's an interesting question in a Gears stream. I'm not too sure why it's come up. I'm happy to answer it.
So am I. I'm just trying to remember the name of the songs that I like.
Well, there mustn't be your favorite if you don't.
There's Viva La Vida. Right?
Oh, okay.
That's one. That's a classic song, that one.
Is it a classic song?
It's a classic. We'll put it in classics. It might not be as good as as classic as your examples. And there's also the newer ones as well. There's one.
Okay, I solely blame myself for taking us down this route.
I like it. Let's go. Let's just admit this is the way we're going.
With the call of a classic song being Viva La Vida by Coldplay, I think we should very swiftly move on to the Gears finals. And hopefully we're loading the game to save me from this pain that I am currently in.
I'm Googling lyrics, mate. I'm Googling.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. I don't think for a second that Frugus would be Viva La Vida, or Elliot's, actually, for a matter of fact. Adventure of a Lifetime. I'm not too sure. Is that a Coldplay song? Or
we talking about classics. Let's talk about like the newer Coldplay songs. A Sky Full of Stars, 2014. That one. That was a good song. I like that. There was another one as well that came around that time. Paradise. Yeah, pretty good. Nice music video, that one. What are your thoughts, Chris? What are you thinking?
Many things. Many things. The thinking that I need this game to start immediately so we can stop this conversation. You know what? I started it, and then I hopefully didn't. I didn't actually see it going in this direction. I honestly thought in myself that you wouldn't be a big Coldplay man. If I'm honest,
I'm not really, but they've had some good songs. They've been around for a while. They've come out with some great chart toppers. Magic, Magic's the other one. Do you remember Magic?
Okay.
Came out around the same time as
I'm
Skyfall
not sure
Stars.
if I
Was that
do,
2014?
but Nof
Yes.
HDFB asked the question, and well, there you go. I mean, that's kind of it answered. I hope. I mean, the community are coming in there. Obviously, a bit of a stream delay. Yeah, there's plenty of yellows in there. Fix you is a good one. It is a good one. I do believe one of the the players disconnected from the lobby, unfortunately, so we haven't been able to jump in quite as quick. But if you want to know about any other groups or random artists' favorite song of ours, then let us know. Maybe ask the questions around Gears though.
Throw it in there.
I don't know if does Matt have a favorite Coldplay song? We could always ask him. He doesn't.
He doesn't want to participate now.
Okay.
Fair enough. Coldplay have been quite inconsistent, I think, over the years with but they have had.
Yeah, yeah. He says "Fix You" is probably it. That's fair enough. Speed of Sound.
Tell you what,
good one. We've really gone deep here.
A minor segue on the topic of music. 2014. I'm just looking at some of the songs that came out that year. Some good songs, Chris. I think we've gone from a genre of where pop was dominating back of the charts to a point where it went all dance music, didn't it? With 2016, 2017, 2018, right? It went. You know what I'm saying, right? In terms of like the difference between pop and dance, right? Are we on the same wavelength here? Pop is just more. It's more like singing bass. Is more, the lyrics and whatnot. Meanwhile, dance is all just like the same kind of choruses where there's no lyrics and it's just pure, one raving beat. I'm more of a fan of pop, I'll admit. Not much of a club guy. How about you, Chris?
I can't believe we're actually talking about this one. In terms of I mean,
have you noticed that trend though?
Have I noticed the trend?
Yeah.
I can't say I really paid that.
We went from Ed Sheeran dominating charts, right, to different artists coming out of nowhere, where the choruses was literally no singing; it was just one big beat, which you hear in a club, right?
Any song in particular standing out on this one?
There's plenty of songs, but I just can't remember a lot of them. I'll be honest, because it's been so long that I've paid attention to the charts. Because, like I said, I'm more of a pop fan. I like a bit of Ed Sheeran and whatnot. I know Ed Sheeran's he's not really pop, is he, Ed Sheeran? But
no,
the greatest example.
He's very much pop.
Is he?
We're going to get into that, yes.
But he's slow. It's slow paced pop, though. I think pop is more like...
Pop is popular music. That's what it stands for.
Traditional pop. I don't know how to describe the music, right? How do you describe it? Because there's clearly dance music, right? You know what your typical dance is not ravey kind of dance, but think so David Guetta was more like pop, right? Calvin Harris was kind of a bit of pop, bit of more like heavy some dance, but then you have some of the new artists that have come out, which is just pure dance, where there's not much lyrics involved, but it's a very repetitive beat.
I tell you what, I've never seen the chat as active as this.
You just got to get into the hardcore topics.
So Rowdy's asking what your favorite Star Wars film is.
Oh, all right. We're segueing into the movies now. I think I like Revenge of the Sith. Are you more modern fan or classic fan of Star Wars?
Classic. Absolutely not. Get the modern ones.
Bit of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. I think Episode 3 is probably the best one. What is it? I forget the names of them. Revenge of the Sith. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I would say it's Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people. Right, okay. Well, you know what? I'm very happy that we've been able to chat to everyone in the chat about this. And Rowdy was saying that I was googling Coldplay songs. Absolutely, I was, because
same. Just because I'm
going to sit here and know I don't know the back catalog. In fairness, I kind of expected you. Go on.
I was going to say EGL Music and Movie Podcast starting soon, right?
Yeah, move us over. I mean, we might as well get the hot top stream going at this point.
Let's change the just change the title on Twitch. Move from Gears 5 to just chatting or podcasts, and let's blow this thing up. We need skins though. What kind of skins are we going to do for music? Can you do skins for music? Skins? I don't know.
I mean, what would be the equivalent?
Like Gears-esque, or I don't know. This is tough.
I feel like the conversation started here, so it'd be rude not to involve Gears.
Yeah. Let's talk about... Have you heard the song Mad World? You have, Chris, but I'm wondering if you know
I have, yeah. No, we're talking about like Gears 1 trailer, Mad World, right? Yeah.
See?
Look at you testing me. Look at you testing me.
There we go.
Come on. My goodness
No, I'm
me.
proud of that. Nice. Very,
Yeah.
very respectable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good song, by the way, Mad World.
It is.
That's
It is
a
a good
classic.
song. It is a good. Ooh, that's the question, Mad World. Who is it by? Matt's just asked,
I
"What's
don't
the
know
name?"
what
What are they called?
There's been loads of artists
No.
who've done Mad World, which is what's confusing.
It's like an obscure name, but I've completely forgotten the name of it now. Oh my goodness me, it's actually going to burn at me.
Stop googling. Stop googling.
I'm not. I'm
I
not
hear
googling.
typing.
My hands are here. My hands are here. I ain't googling anything. Who's
It's not. I think the original was it. Am I reading a band? Is the original?
Oh, well, Rowdy's asking about Hamilton going off in the F1 today, and I was a little bit disappointed because it would have been a really nice race towards the last couple of laps. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm a big Lewis fan, which people are not going to be happy about. Is it like Goatee or something like that?
So the Gears one,
not who sings it?
The Gears one singer was Gary Jules, right? That's Gary Jules is the one that did Mad World, but I'm not sure if he's the original artist of it. That's the question. If we're trying to be, specific
well, no, I think who was it? Who sang? I don't know. There's a load of them, isn't there?
No, yeah. Gary Jules did the Gears trailer. That one, but
originally it says it's Tears for Fears.
It may have been, yeah.
But then was it? Okay, I think I'm thinking of it wrong. So, nonetheless, it does sound like we're nearly ready to load into this. So, so hopefully we're ready to get into it. Pulses. I don't know if I can ask that question in the stream, although feel free to ask it in there. We're talking. If we're going to be talking about F1, I do enjoy the battle though. It has to be said. I am a Lewis.
Oh, we're talking about sports now.
Yeah, I think we can go on that route. The F1 was very good today. It was very okay.
I like esports. I prefer esports to sports.
Yeah.
This is a great segue.
It's a good segue in the training grounds. Well, thank you for sticking around there. Well, that wasn't really trivia, but nonetheless a nice conversation to have. And big shout out to who was it that kicked that one off in particular?
Was it Rowdy?
And it wasn't Rowdy who kicked it off.
No, someone else who asked to call
plays. In Mexico, NOF HDFB. Shout out to that guy. Give him VIP. That was interesting. Anyway, nonetheless, massive start this one off very, very nicely with the B and C capture. It's going to be Hydro coming in there as we move into the grand finals. For those of you who enjoyed that, we will continue to do it every single week. Yes, the original was Tears for Fears, as everybody do confirm. Nonetheless, good start here for Massive. He will get a hold of A and C. 1v1 over towards B, which could be influential, but not going to matter now as TamTam are able to lock A in. B-line over towards C.
Hydron is lurking all the way far up. Look how far Hydron's up. He's gone from B all the way over, and they're definitely looking for the triple cap based on his positioning alone. Dragons, I think he's got a reinforcement. Surely? No, not actually any players nearby, so they're not going to full commit to that, it's safe to say. Dragons and Hydron definitely committed to it, though, and the retaker's come in through already on B. And this is going to be a big battle for training grounds. Bounces, I believe, plays B usually, and then he's going to be against Hydron. And Hydron, if you remember on Gridlock, was playing so well on that snipe tower. I think he was perhaps the most important player on that roster, actually, of TamTam for that 6-2 victory on it, because he was just so dominant there. So he seems to be playing well. And him as just a 1v player, the smarts, the ability to leverage different factors to give yourself an advantage, cover play, shot holding. Hydron is going to be a huge test for anyone in a 1v1 situation for a single hill, right? It's really, really big deal for him, especially on tournament day, grand final. It'll be a big test. I think Hydron, really has his work cut out for him, but great opportunity for his team if he can do well.
It's ticking in here for TamTam. I don't think it'll go all the way through, though. B is going to go back over towards Massive, who have a very, very slight lead, and they are going to get a hold of C here, so it should be a win condition coming in here for Massive in a second. Should be around 40 seconds or so to get round number 1 underneath their belts. Hydron well positioned, though, to make this push over towards C. That's to be a regain from TamTam, though, as they are about to lose the lead towards the business end of the round. Gunfight won by Massive over towards Bridge, as well as going to compound that capture, it has to be said. 25 seconds now for TamTam to do something here, Toby. Uh-oh. Oh,
lovely.
Good done well. Yeah, really good recovery. Needs to make the extension maybe over towards C here, potentially. Or does he feel like you need to get rid of Crazed first? Not going to happen, though. Crazed deals with them. 5 kills in this round. This is going to be a massive round. 1-0 for them now. Slaps can do very little. Hasn't really moved too much in this round, as that one does go over towards Massive.
Closer than it looks in the end, I think, Chris, that first round. TamTam
fights,
yeah, pretty much the better team off the rip, right? But as time went on, of course, Massive were able to pull off some awesome retakes and clutch up a little bit. And casting our mind back, I will double check the score, but I'm pretty sure it was like a 5-4 result last time these guys played on TG. Escalation, and it was, yeah. TamTam won 5-4 in week 3 grand final, and it was first map too. So TamTam, you know, based on history, statistics, if you will, they need to win this to even have a chance at the grand final, and it's a big deal, and they certainly can win it.
So I'm looking for a route back in, and can it come here? Round number 2. KRIMCEZ backs off, puts the shots in, and that is going to be a massive team fight win as they move over towards C. B fight is going to be very, very important. Hydron really needs to stay alive. Ant's going to find him. Now the extension over towards B, and, well, if you're the first one out of spawn for the side of TamTam, that Slaps is going to make this push over towards C, and he has to make it work. The rest of the team now coming in off respawn. It's going to be a full commitment over towards C. Massive looking to try and defend what they've got a hold of here. Here comes the push, and Slaps has done very, very well. Finds 2 and denies Massive the early round win.
Whew. Pains is lurking. Now they've heard him. Trying to sneak a kill in, but it's not going to happen. Noto going wide as well to make sure that's the end of that fight. TamTam immediately pressuring the B. And just like Massive before them in the previous round, are able to very quickly retake the B hill on this side of the map. And even Slaps has continued his push off the hill and pushing the enemy's home hill, but not going to pay off. Hydron again is pushed all the way up. He has to be careful. They could turn on any moment to cross him in the back. In fact, player is to his left, and Hydron is pretty much trapped there. Not going to be able to escape through no man's land. Dragons is going to fall the initial, or the initial location on the U. Dragons clutching up to find 1, but Noto, the last player alive here. 1v2 for him to try and deal with, but not going to happen. Blink and you miss it. Massive have just retaken map control and 2 hills instantly.
Oh, I'm not sure if Slaps really wanted to be in here. Oh, the flash doesn't connect and bounces, deals with him. Needs to keep a hold of B, but C is currently being contested. So works out for Massive. A 45-second win condition. The fight over towards B goes in their favor as well. And if you're Hydron, you need to push. You both need to push. Him and Notorious need to make their way in. Have they broke it? Yes, they have. About staying alive in this round. There's been a couple of occasions where it has went down like this, though, and that's 1 win condition. 30 seconds is going to hurt TamTam. Hydron taking a lot of shots off his former teammate, KRIMCEZ. Backing him down eventually. 1 win condition is there, though, and this needs to be a triple cap coming out from TamTam. And it's going to be very difficult to do when there's only 2 of you alive on the map. That's going to be 2-0 to Massive now, barring, well, teleportation being available for Hydron. This round will go over the way of Massive. And it has to be said, though, you know, as mentioned, it really has not been quite plain sailing. Both rounds really having to go the distance here for Massive.
Yeah. Massive coming out of their shell a little bit now, I think. They're starting to stretch the legs. TamTam are crumbling at the difficult points. It's not an ideal time to crumble, that's for sure, for TamTam. They need to start off strong, for sure. As I mentioned, they won 5-4 last time they played on TG in the grand final on this map, but right here, right now, Massive are tuning up.
Round number 3 now. So Massive just seem to be clutching up where they need to. Big fight over towards you once again, coming on through. Dragon's ready and waiting. All about this control. And it's quite often that we just see the 1Vs over towards B. It kind of transitioned a little bit, hasn't it? Underground's kind of used to be a little bit more spread out, but it's very much about you control to make the A and C push. The other side of the coin you're on. These have changed up over time. This is going to be dealt with by Slaps, and there's kind of a TamTam win over towards you, but that's all that's been going on. Bounces has got a hold of B. is now likely going to be pushed by Dragons, who he's really put in a bad spot. Holds his shot and, well, will get taken down from behind. So, works out for TamTam. They'll get a hold of B, and they're on the front foot towards C as well.
Again, TamTam going for the triple cap. Should be easy to do. They've done all the hard work. They now just need to see it out. 5 seconds on the clock. Oh no, KRIMCEZ comes around on the flank, saves the day once more. The amount of times I've seen him clutch up on that hill, Chris. So many times on that particular C hill. And just like that, again, massive, very quickly retaking the B hill. And not too far behind in points. They'll be able to win off 2 if it somehow stays this way. Hydron already making the play, going wide. The cross from the left. Hydron, in fact, running all the way around. They just want to completely pinch them. Lancers and Retros and Bounces and Pains are nowhere near an opponent to be able to get a kill in time. This is amazing stuff from TamTam. True smarts on show. Being able to put 2 of Europe's best ever players in a pinch like that.
Dragon's trying his best up top, and he's done very well to get a hold of just KRIMCEZ. KRIMCEZ will deal with him. Map position in here for Massive, though. Like a bit of a stack over towards B. Only going to be aware that Hydron's here, doesn't need shots. Eventually he does, but gets traded out rather quickly. Is that a trade? I'm very confused.
Confusing times.
Did not say that Bouncers killed him?
I'm not sure myself, Chris.
Yeah, he wasn't even looking at one on my screen. Nonetheless.
Okay. 4 Red Dragons. He's just trying to land that last shot. Timed the up A perfectly. Pains does fight back, though, immediately. Slaps, unfortunately, turning away just a little bit to KRIMCEZ in the center. Diverting his attention. Look how close the score is. 20 seconds to go. This last play for a second hell is huge. KRIMCEZ tries to go for the up A. Doesn't connect fully. Rather, doesn't give him. And Slap's not able to get himself back in that. 8 seconds to go. TamTam not close enough to break in time. I don't think Dragons will get dropped. That'll be round number 3 going the way of Massive, and it's very unfortunate for TamTam because they've gone quite close in these rounds, Chris. They've had some good moments, but it's been about that endurance. It's been about Massive being able to retake just a little bit better. KRIMCEZ sitting pretty on 17 kills.
Yeah, he's playing quite well, has to be said. But, you know, every single round has been relatively close. I'm curious if TamTam can start to bring this back. Do they need something to maybe change things up? Drop shot over towards you, potentially. Seems to be the route a lot of teams do go down. Taking their time with the selection here. Incen's going to come through. 3 rounds down, though, and you kind of expect maybe a change-up. If you're Massive, you're more than happy to continue with how things are being going, but KRIMCEZ, 17 kills, 3 assists, 4 deaths. Very, very difficult man to kill.
Yeah. Absolutely. TamTam used to be so good at this U fight, but Massive have just become the new kings, it seems like. They've got right hand, they're trying to revive chain their way through. Dragons gets 1, but Pains is not having any of it. Will backwards bounce away from that shotgun, and we'll find the remaining kill. Already overextending. Hydra to B. Oh, lovely shot from him. Catching bounces out. And now the pinch onto Crazed. Triple cap not happening today. Crazed taking cover on Godspot. He's got the angle on Hydra. This is perfectly played. Crazed's only option, and he's played it excellently. And the comms are clear. Notorious saves the day on Pains. The triple cap will be blocked for now. Massive are just pressuring so much for that, though.
Oh, Noto going to take some bullets there as he tries to make the push over towards C. Or towards A, I should say. You get taken down. What can Dragons do to avenge his teammate? Absolutely nothing. Bouncers really is coming towards the forefront of Europe at the moment, isn't it? Talked about like the rise of Pains and, of course, Dragons. Bouncers is on his way. It has to be said, a very, very scary player in this current era of mutant gears in Europe, and that is going to be the round 4-0 to Massive here. A bit of a statement in the escalation so far.
Yeah, it is. It very much is. And the thing for me, Chris, with Bounces is that the only reason he's not talked about more and considered even better is the fact that his duo is Pains. That's it. You know, that really is it. Because individually, against all of his opponents, his performances have been stellar, incredible, really good. Every time you watch him, he is literally not even a mini Pains, because I don't think that's fair, because he really is like the other half of Pains, his duo, the two Italians. But it really is just oftentimes the storylines just come back to Pains being the best in Europe, and you know he's the other half of the Italian duo. So PhantomT gets a little bit less limelight as a result, but no, PhantomT certainly is up there. 1 and 2, these two players are in terms of the rankings right now in EGL RP. They really are running Europe right now. They are dominating those two.
Shots from Notorious and slaps. Gonna do a bit of damage. This fight important though. Obviously his U control is here. The Dragon's going to take a lot of bullets there, but is that going to free up the rest of his team to make the push from the other side? Notorious and Slaps don't choose to move forward, but they have dealt with KRIMCEZ. Now it's a 2v2. Trades come in. Oh, Pains is very, very weak, and, well, they're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place now as Hydra starts to make this push, and it's very clean from TamTam, it has to be said. Very, very well played. Bouncer should be next on the chopping block here as well, and he will fall. Good start to the round from TamTam, but is it too little too late? That's the problem.
Dragon's getting aggressive, looking for that 1v. His player to his left, coming in hot is KRIMCEZ. Slaps is going to get instantly back A by KRIMCEZ. Wow, what a shot that was. F-Hill quickly taken back by Massive. They are hungry for the 5-0 statement here on TG escalation. The push isn't over yet, it seems like, for TamTam. Just need to finalize those last shots on bounces. There we go. Now they can overextend fully to the F-Hill. Meanwhile, bounces, I think, is actually... No, yes, KRIMCEZ is overextending the other side. He's got the break in the D-Hill. All he needs to do now is just stay alive. Not too far behind in points. You know, don't have to get desperate with a cap, but he will get it nonetheless. He's going to be able to get out there as well.
Done well. The distraction tactic whilst everything goes on over towards F, and now it's a race over towards E. For Massive, who's going to be first there to get on the point. It will be them, though, and it will be the win condition heading over towards them as well. I believe so, at least, anyway. I don't think the 40 seconds and this early on is going to make too much of a difference. One win condition was there, but the F fight is being won solely by Dragons. Does fall, but here comes Slaps. The reinforcements are here. F currently in limbo, I should say. KRIMCEZ is going to be forced down. Hydron finds a kill over towards the side as well, so it's all going down across the map here now. Slaps trying his best just to try and stay alive. Look at those shots that are going to come through from KRIMCEZ, though, once again. 24 kills, 6 assists, and 6 deaths. Is that how it's going to end, potentially? Ooh. Dragon's trying his best to deny this domination. That's going to come on through. Break is going to come through, potentially, from him. The shots are good. Not good enough. The rest of the team after respawn may be able to stop this. But does it really make a difference to this round? Hydron has just about kept them off.
Absolutely insane. Pains is now rotating over. I think they've bought enough time, though, Chris. 20 seconds on the clock, and they've still got 2 caps in. Hydron's finally able to lock in D, but again, the pressure from Massive overextending. Hydron, perfect shots, though, on a KRIMCEZ with a headshot. And they've got 3 or 2 members down momentarily, but still, one player after another for Massive will keep TamTam in their spawn, essentially. KRIMCEZ still getting kills. Never mind an overextension to try and break the 2 hills. Massive, they don't need to set up, Chris. They're just going to fly you at your spawn instead. What better assertion of dominance is there than that? Than having to play usual textbook gears and play it safe on the halfway line. No lancering necessary. Just get up close and personal and prove you're better in the shotgun department.
Fantastic performance from Massive.
26
across
kills.
the board, yeah. Massive. KRIMCEZ, that's absolutely ridiculous. 26 kills, 6 assists, 7 deaths. I mean, you kind of run out of words to talk about KRIMCEZ as well. You know, we talk about Pains, Bouncers, Dragons, all of these players who kind of have come in around Gears 4 and 5 and looked the part. It has to be said, KRIMCEZ has been there time and time again. There's so many times that people have called him the best player in Europe, and you know, people will talk about Pains on a pure sort of ability-wise kind of side of things, but still for me, KRIMCEZ just week in, week out looks fantastic. Just a very, very good player, and he's just very, very difficult to kill. I think that's one of the things that does make the difference. And Pains is there in the forefront all the time. You know, yes, okay, he finds the kills, but the interactions just kind of make up for it. But for KRIMCEZ, he's so good at staying alive, and just as I said, one of the best players in Europe and has been for quite some time. That's a bit of a blow. It has to be said for TamTam. You will at least expect a bit of a close game. And look, in fairness, the first 3 rounds, has to be said, were relatively close and few kills here or there difference. And you're looking at 3-0 to TamTam potentially. But the way that it crumbled was that Massive just about clutched up in those first 3 rounds and pretty much dominated in the next 2. So it's difficult to see a world where this does change. But if it is going to change for TamTam, it is going to be the execution. We will be heading over towards Gridlock. What's the keys to victory here for TamTam? Then what are they got to do to beat Massive on this map?
I think execution is safe to say is Massive's weakest spot, right? And it's not only that, it's Checkout and Gridlock are the weakest maps. They've lost a number of times now, right? Have Massive. They've previously lost Gridlock against PhantomT, admittedly a weaker team than TamTam. TamTam, of course, just taking them out in the semi-final 3-0, despite being -1. And this is a great opportunity for them to win out on the second map, but it's unfortunate because it was 5-0 on map 1 on Escalation, a mode that TamTam have got a lot of experience playing on, you know, and they are very good themselves at Escalation.
Yeah,
and they've beaten them on TG before, but right there they lost 5-0 in what was just absolute dominance from Massive. And so I just really hope for TamTam's sake that they can just set that one aside and just, hey, they played better on TG today. We've had a very good execution Gridlock today against PhantomT earlier on. Let's do it again to Massive this time around. Perhaps just with a solid win on Gridlock execution, perhaps they can get themselves back into this game and perhaps win the rest of the escalations, and you can actually win the rest of the executions as well and still win outright. It's a best of 5 series after all.
Yeah, there's still plenty of more gears to be played, of course, it has to be mentioned. But one thing I did notice that we'll be heading over to Asylum if we do need to for the second escalation. So no Vazgar making it through this week, which from a perspective of not wanting to, see Massive just stomp through every single week, I'm glad to see it because we have seen them become just quite unstoppable on escalation as a whole. But it'd be nice to see a different map in Asylum, of course. But Gridlock coming up next for Execution Nexus Control is what will potentially close it out in if Massive are able to win map number 2 here. So I think it has to be Gridlock. I don't envisage TamTam winning the control here. Not against with how the way that things are being playing, specifically for Massive. I don't see it going in the way of TamTam. So they need the Gridlock, they need the Asylum, then we head to a checkout. I think that's kind of has to be their route back into this series because I just don't see them winning the control. You're 1-0 down already. It has to be all down to these executions, and it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. Heading in just a second, though, hopefully into map number 2. It's interesting just to see which route they are going to take. TamTam here, they're going to focus more on Boom, on Snipe. We've kind of seen teams with mixed fortunes with prioritizing certain areas, of course. I think it was PhantomT who really do like to put the majority of their eggs in the long shot basket. See where it goes from there. It's not a bad place to have, of course, but I think it's because that the boom shot fight tends to go on a little bit longer, doesn't it? So interested to see how this fight up top breaks down.
So we mentioned it earlier, the meta, if you will, for Gridlock seemingly has changed to 2v2 up top rather than the original 1v1. And immediately, Massive have started off making it a 2v1, taking down one at Snipe Tower. Meanwhile, a body check down bottom will ensure the arch fight. That boom shot fight goes the way of Massive. Bounces wins his 1v at Snipe Tower. A stunning round from Massive once again, winning that 2v2 in, again, stunning form. No one getting taken. Oh, well, actually, I stand corrected. Crimson's getting taken down, but a very, very quick round nonetheless.
Jumping into round number 2. Massive just looking to continue this, and it's a good start for them, isn't it? I think you get into that kind of escalation and then come away with a very quick round in the execution, then kind of things start going your way and pains and bounces up top. I mean, it's really not a duo you want to have to deal with. Praise finds 2 down towards Boom. This grand final could be over very fast.
Ooh. 24 seconds, that one. Again, Massive are just stunning in this Snipe Tower. And, they might be planning to play Gridlock the exact same way each and every time because they've clearly had a lot of practice on this new opening strat for Gridlock. And they're playing just so well. You know, this strat works so well for them, Chris, because you've got Bounces and Pains, the duo together, as per usual, right? And they're able to link up in Snipe Tower in what is a very difficult fight where utility is crucial in terms of its placement and its timing. I say that. Hydron finally getting the kill on the board. Bounces full ride, stuck on right hand on the pillar. They will go wide and take him down. 4v2 now. Surely this is massive. It's rather TamTam's round. Unless KRIMCEZ can clutch up by killing one. KRIMCEZ gets the second. 2 members down, though. It's a race to see if a player can tap up. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Hydron will clean up both kills. There you go. TamTam finally. Hydron getting straight into it. Able to get that first kill as he was doing so well against PhantomT. In the most difficult moments in that Snipe Tower. Hydron just needs to keep that up.
2-1 now. Massive trying to get something done here. I really want to walk away quite quickly as execution winners and get this one signed and sealed. We haven't got Elliot here for the post-me part of that one, so I'll try and not steal it, but nonetheless, heading towards up top once again. Pains and Bounces are going to be the first to fall here, potentially. Yep, there you go. Now, it's 2v4 in the favor of TamTam. 8-1v4 KRIMCEZ. Well, very much a storied player, but I think he would have done very well to take that one. 2-2 all of a sudden.
This is better. This is much better from TamTam. Again, you know, they're on the weaker side. Massive were in there quickly within the Snipe Tower pocket, trying to utilize right hand. But TamTam were just keeping up the damage, trying to hold that right hand on the pillar, making sure they don't get pushed down that staircase, because of course it can be very difficult to try and retake it up top once lost. Strat-wise, again, anyone going to change it up now that we're at 2-2? Doesn't seem like 2v2 on both ends of the map. Right hand for Noto. He's got the angle on one, but Pains and Bounces will be able to swoop in and get the kills necessary. Slaps will be dropped as massive win down bottom as well as up top. 3-2. It looks like we're going to go potentially back and forth here, KRIMCEZ. Both teams really favor themselves in each individual 2v2.
Yeah, nicely done. Massive do get back into it very quickly. Few rounds away yet for Massive to try and get this one done.
Again, I think.
So the flashes leave the smokes, isn't it? It's more aggressive from Massive, but smoking off a TamTam, and they've probably got the better positions now to do some damage here. And there you go. Pains and Bounces can't quite get each other up, but Pains somehow does survive. KRIMCEZ gets a hold of the boom also, finds a kill, and takes himself down. So all of a sudden it's a 2v2. It is both a 1v1. Which way are these going to go? Pains probably won't fancy himself there yet. Moved up while he was already weak, and KRIMCEZ now is going to be butted up from the other side of things. I think Noto would have made the call there. I've got the fight. Now a 1v2 for KRIMCEZ. It's not impossible for him to get it done, but he's just going to surely be focused down by one with the Lancer, and they just get the angles, and we get another round. 3-3 now.
Even Pains getting that kill on Hydron was just obscene. I thought the fight was over, Chris, but somehow he just up a wrapped or something. Couldn't tell from the angle. We went on his camera just to get a kill back. It's just mind-blowing. But no, Notorious, he held his nerve. Well played from him. He had right hand, definitely didn't choke or anything, or lose his nerve against literally the top player in Europe right now, many would argue. Really well played from him. Now 3-3. Pains has gone straight in. Smokes are starting to be used now, Chris. Both teams varying it up a little bit to try and get the edge in this snipe fight. KRIMCEZ has been downed. Will TamTam elect to just leave it now? They've lost the boom shot fight. They don't need to challenge this. They can just run out of there. Hydron is going to get stuck. Noto needs to get sprinting right now to make sure he doesn't get taken down. 3v2 numbers advantage. He is literally running for the hills. He's trying to hold the one side.
Oh.
Boom shot not going to connect. Bounces and Pains aren't done just yet. Look at Bounces. Just aiming around the corner so he couldn't be seen or angled from the right hand. Smart play. And just like that, Chris, you have to keep your numbers. You know, if you've won down bottom, Hydron and Noto just need to start flying away from them to try and keep that 3v2, that 4v2 advantage. But now we're at a 2v2, and Pains has somehow gotten a kill on Dragons. You can't get in a 1v when your teammate's got a boom shot. You can't let that happen. My
The thing is
goodness
as
me.
well, I mean,
1v1.
Dragons had frags as well. He tried to make the play with it. 1v1 at 3-3. It's a big round. Bounces at 100 still. Slaps obviously there as well. Well, I mean... Who makes the push then? Oh, it's going to be Bounces and walks straight into the Nasher of Slaps. 4-3 now. And I don't think
surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised he made that push.
Yeah, I'm surprised he just put it all on black, right? Essentially, after the pains and bounces literally run through gridlock in what was the most difficult situation one could imagine. A 2v4 when the team against you has the boom, and brought it down to a 1v, and then Bouncer just attempts the up A. Like it's a little bit confusing, but nonetheless, 4-3.
I think it's the confidence, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that was reckless, though, I think, at the end of the day. Slaps just read it like a book. He had right hand. 4v3 now. Different story. Massive this time with a huge numbers advantage, and Pains is not letting up. He wants revenge after that last round at Snipe Tower. Bounces weak, but he will get the last kill. Immediately tying it back up for a piece now. And I'm telling you, Chris, you know, we spoke about this. Execution was the opportunity for TamTam to defeat Massive. I think they have to take the Xyz, you know, like we've seen enough, I think, of all three modes combined in one cycle where you can kind of predict what a team absolutely needs to win in advance. And I think it's safe to say this gridlock has to go the way of TamTam. It's their biggest opportunity. I just don't see them winning control. It really does come down to this.
2 rounds away for both teams yet. Bouncer spraying through. Pains grabbing the sniper immediately there as well. So TamTam have been back down just that little bit, but which way is the fight going on the other side of things? Looking like it's over towards TamTam, and while Pain's in a very, very difficult spot. 5-4 TamTam all of a sudden. That little bit of momentum that Massive had at the beginning just seemingly disappearing.
Yeah, this is that was a big round for TamTam. Again, it's the battle of two 2v2s. It goes to show how high level both of these teams are to go so neck and neck in both the boom fight and also the snipe fight. It's huge for both teams. So much pressure on each and every single player in this game. KRIMCEZ on the flank along with Slaps now on board with these guys. Sitting back. Oh, Hydron started off strong. They've got the boom pickup as well as Dragons, and he's not been taken down. He's got the boom. Hydron is in a 1v up top. He doesn't need to commit to this. KRIMCEZ's old teammate. Movement incredible to be able to close the gap like that. Making Hydron miss over and over again. But 1v2. Not a great spot. Yeah, perfect frag. There you go. TamTam will win the execution. 6-4, 2 rounds in a row in the end. And very well earned for sure. And again, Hydron playing out of his mind at the Snipe Tower after those first 2 rounds had finished. And also Dragons, a really important quick pick down bottom, clearly outplaying his 1v down bottom at the archway, as he was able to get away scoot free with that weapon, essentially secure the round from there.
Yeah, very, very good round and a good win there for TamTam on execution. We said it was absolutely necessary that they did get a hold of it, so we're going to at least see Asylum as we head into the control in just a second on Nexus, but it does elongate this final, and it does make things a little bit more interesting. A close game in this one, it has to be said. It was very back and forth, but ultimately TamTam just making maybe the better decisions in terms of how things working out. Those initials as well as definitely important. I mean, look, TamTam just played better over that whole entire game. Now heading in to the next map on the Nexus Control. I said we kind of ripped them off completely in this map, but I was going to say, was that wise? I think so. I think that's generally how things have been working. We have seen Massive look so good on the Control. Maybe, just maybe, they could maybe get something going here. But I honestly think that this one is done and dusted. And it's going to take going over towards the Asylum, where things could potentially change. But TamTam, I'd be very happy to let them prove me wrong. They still play that execution very, very well, considering Cougars was not there and Notorious in instead. They play it well. I think it's a different ball game when you go over to Nexus Control and when you potentially go to obviously Asylum on Escalation as well. Check out coming up map number 5 potentially if we do need it. But I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want to write them out too early, but at the same time, with how good Massive have looked on Control, I just feel as if TamTam are fighting off the back foot throughout the whole series here.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to the TG, how important it was escalation, right? If like a bookie, you was looking at TG and was trying to predict, hey, who's going to win, or who am I going to put my money on? As soon as it was a 5-0, as soon as just losing that map, you just say, all right, everything on Massive at that point, because historically they have to win that to even get close. Do TamTam. Remember, they've never beaten them in a grand final, but again, gridlock. Clearly, TamTam have great potential there, and they won out on that map. If they can get it to checkout, Chris, just imagine, right? Somehow we get to a 2-2, right? After the Nexus, after the Asylum escalation, in theory, right, we'd be going off a map win for the side of TamTam off that escalation Asylum. Checkout, they've beaten them before in it. They'll have the momentum. Yep. They can easily do it, right? They can easily win this grand final. If they can win the Nexus, though, TamTam somehow win Control. Hey, we got a grand final in our hands cards, then, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. I think this is where it is, isn't it? We absolutely expect Nexus to go over towards Massive. If that is the case, then they should absolutely probably close it out on Asylum. But if it goes over towards, obviously, the other side of things, then we probably feel as if we're definitely going to see Checkout, which is a map that they have beat them on, although they don't have Cougars with the sniper this time. So True. That is another factor, potentially. But, we're just looking for a good grand final, and it's been a decent one so far. Heading into the Control in just a second, we'll be figuring out who's going to take really the game by, I was going to say by the balls there, but the game by the horns, I should say.
Yes, the horns.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? But look, how good Massive have looked on Control. They just seem to read it very, very well. But it has to be said, on Regency before, I thought TamTam looked very, very good. I thought the way that they were playing it was solid. Obviously, Nexus is a very different map, and maybe not as consistent on the spawn side of things, I would say, as Regency has been.
Yeah. From
what I've seen and heard, at least anyway. Let's see how Nexus does play out, and then we'll maybe have a better idea who's going to win this grand final. It's just we are happy for Massive to continue on, but it'd be nice to have that a little bit of stiff competition, which we hope TamTam, as time does go on, are going to be able to replicate. So heading into map number 3, let us know who you think is going to win it in the chat. Hopefully you'll stick around for your skins, etc. A decent amount of you in there having some interesting discussions in the chat as well. Right, okay, this is where I draw the line, where he's just said Nando's is dead. I am not going to have that.
We're not having that chat now.
We're not going to get into it. No, look, and for all the people who I even seen that Toby did call him a troll as well. We're happy to just have the discussion, though. We're happy to have the discussion. That's fine.
Chat, yeah. Have a bit of fun.
That's fine. I'm not going to delve in. Yeah. I'm not going to delve in. Don't let me.
Don't allow.
No, I know you want to. I've seen you looking to the side, typing away at the same time. No, but it's all good to just have the conversation in there. But how many weeks to the split final? So we got the next 2 open series general weeks to come, obviously 7 and 8, and then the finals are exactly the week after, and week number 26th and 27. So yeah, interesting to see which way those are going to go. But it's interesting. It is very interesting to see if anyone can step up to the plate for Massive. And then, of course, maybe any teams that are coming back. And I'd argue that anyone who is wanting to make the comeback, you need to do it shortly, because there is only 2 more weeks of regular play. And then that's kind of where you really need to get your practice in. And get some good teams in a competitive environment and put yourself in the best position possible. Hopefully, we're going to be heading in to map number 3 very, very shortly. Chat reactions in the chat, and I'd love to see him in amongst it very shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say as well, I'm not sure, I haven't done the math, I've only just thought about this, but maybe EGLRP comes into it a little bit in these last 2 weeks. You want to build up your points a little bit for seeding, right? We could have a lot of teams last time in the split finals. We capped out the teams, right? 64, I want to say, close to that. In split 2 series finals, so get a good seeding, right? You want to play in these weeks, even if you don't think you're practiced enough on any of the modes, whether it be escalation, control, or XC, to beat, to get to the semi-final, the final, doesn't matter. Get some points, get some seeding points, and so you're more prepared for the split finals. At a time where perhaps you're a little bit more practiced to play it out and see how you do then. And meanwhile, it's just about getting practice in at this point, because there's 2 new modes and loads of new maps. So, got to start now. It's now or never, essentially, to get ready for the split finals.
Yep, 2 more weeks of regular play, and then we head into the split finals. And, well, we have a few maps to go in this one. Pains and Co. looking to take the lead once again here on the controller, and they've been so good at it so far. Pain's getting a hold of the Moxer. You can still probably pick up your Team Phantom Moxer skin for joining in on the stream. You like that segue, Toby?
That was nice, yeah.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
I respect that, yeah. Oh. Fight continues on this hill.
Moxer in hand. Oh!
He's talking about the Moxer.
Yep, Notorious gets his head peeled off. Hydron, is he going to follow as well? Yeah, drops on down. Pains can do it really with anything at this point. Shots through there on the Dragons as well. Is he able to save his teammate? Not quite, but Pain's still alive and kicking. Moxer in hand, and he really has kept them at bay. 35 points without answer so far for Massive.
The issue here, Chris, for like the last 30 seconds is TamTam have been running in on their own, essentially. Like, one person has not got anyone nearby to revive. They're just getting shot by like 4 people. He gets down, then another player comes in. Everyone just needs to wait for the spawn to come in and then make the play. By this time, with only 10 seconds left, it's time to rotate for everyone. Like, you know, in my opinion, Noto shouldn't even be there. He should be defending the short spawn because the hill is going to spawn opposite, you know, diagonally to the left. And as you can see, some of the players of TamTam are there, but Massive have rotated way earlier. Noto's been staggered on the last hill, and it's just a simple numbers advantage for Massive to take here on the hill. You've got to be very clinical in your decision making to rotate and time numbers with control.
Pains is going to fall. Notorious actually finds a second as well, by looks of things. Not quite. Raised cleans him up, so spreading themselves out here, Massive a little bit, just forcing their way through different areas of the map. Keeping an eye on the top right corner. It seems that they do have well, they did have spawns locked in. They had a bit of a line across the back of the map just to make sure that control is there. Slaps now is considering pushing forward, but really doesn't have many ways to go. Points still being scored by Massive here. Only 4 for TamTam so far.
Perfect nades from Crazed. Noto literally had nowhere to go. Perfectly timed. KRIMCEZ has the new torp bow. And again, look at the score, Chris. 100-4. Massive are just so good at starting off strong early. You know, it's clear, right? They're the best at the initial, it seems like. Just like with Escalation, it seems like the 3 maps, District, Nexus, and Regency is really just their wheelhouse in terms of how to play initials, and it just spirals out into the points. And this is the tough bit. Now, Massive, or rather TamTam, have to win 2/3 in a row, if you will, to get to 300 before the other team. And it's going to be so difficult for them, perhaps, at this point in time.
Yeah, it's not insurmountable, but it does become very difficult. Now, they're able to lock this in, though. They win the gunfights on transition over towards this next hill. This is a good chunk of time you can get a hold of here if you can win your gunfights, which they've done so far.
And Hydron's got short spawn as well, Chris. He took down bouncers there. He's already set up there. You know, we talked about it earlier. Hydron was one of the better players, actually, and rotating for the hills. Oh my god, both players roll. Pains beats into the shot, though. Short spawn has been taken by Pains. It looks like he will be looking for that 1v as well.
Look at the spawn behind. Number 2. Hydron spawning behind the push. That's going to start coming on through, so it does spawn out. Can they hold from the front? And it can sometimes work out in your favor. The spawn out comes through because they don't know how to deal with Hydron from behind at the same time. And you get pinched. Just as simple as that. So Massive they get a hold of the short spawn. Hydron then spawns out, but then he's pushing behind their push. That's coming from the other side.
And that's the issue as well, is you can't take your time making plays. As soon as that kill comes through, you have to go, because eventually that 4th will be respawning and he will be making a play, whether that be behind or diagonally or across from the side to torp bow onto where Hydron's standing or sitting right now. Timing matters. And I think if you're not quick enough, you can certainly, you know, throw away a numbers advantage like that 4v3 there from Pains winning that 1v. And it can quickly cost you.
Pains now making his way forward. Can't land the shot on the slaps. Plenty of people from TamTam here, though. Doesn't make the second one count either. Dragons will deal with him.
Torp bow on the floor. Nade's been thrown. Oh, Dragons has to be careful. He doesn't necessarily need to rush here. Although I say that, KRIMCEZ, my god, great movement, but slaps will bring him down, timing him out for a second. Pains is lurking in the torp bow. They have the numbers for the second. Do TamTam. They take him out. Yes, they can. They're winning so far on this hill. There we go. Slaps finds a torp bow too, and all of a sudden we look back at the score, and it's almost a 20-point game between TamTam and Massive. They've been able to bring it back now, and if they can get a lot of points here on the center hill, it'll be a very big advantage going into the remaining hills on the corner money hills, if you will.
Sorry, staying alive inside the hill, and they really have turned this round. It was a 100-point deficit, but TamTam have had a fantastic second half of the start of this game, if you like. Just that rotation round of the previous hill really got them a lot of time, and they fought well out of the middle point as well. Let's transition over towards the next hill, though. There's quite a few members of TamTam ready and waiting. Bounces has been spotted. Where are the rest of Massive?
I think they're wrapping around on the old hill, a lot of them, yeah. I think maybe just Noto pushed them out a little bit and they had to deal with him, and as a result, they were just positioned awfully for the next hill. Meanwhile, TamTam were the better team to rotate. They went through the top spawn, right? Slaps you saw going all the way around the top to make sure there were no secret mans, and they collapsed on the only player there. Now they've got the side advantage. Dragon's really committing to this push, though, I will say. Flank does come through from Noto. Great comms coming out from TamTam. But Massive have the short spawn, and they are pushing from up top.
And they get a hold of something here because they have actually fallen behind, considering how extensive their lead was to kick things off. Not necessarily ideal. Slaps gets a hold of the talk bow as well, so keep an eye on that one coming on through. It's the shots onto Pains. I might open up the door now. Keep an eye on the spawn as well that Massive are going to get. Is it going to be towards the backside? I know it is going to be a spawn out, so the push needs to come through from TamTam pretty quickly. Is they going to start getting flanked by Pains? And, well, it's not going to work out for them. KRIMCEZ deals with 2. Pains comes from behind, and there you go. That's what can happen. And I think teams are going to start becoming a little bit more aware of that one, where you do spawn them out. You need to be aware if they have spawned out. And then you need to kind of deduce where they are coming from.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a process of elimination, right? If they're not there, then they must be there. You know, just simply put, there's only so many corners of the map and potential locations they could be at based on where your team is and based on where they are. Yeah, not too difficult a calculation. It's just a matter of timing. You know, whether you can use that information to then make a difference and work around the spawn. But here we go. Massive have rotated to the new hill. They've got the hill location, but they do not have short. That will be for TamTam. As you can see, it's right there, right in front, coming from across the way. And we're set up all the way at the back are Massive. Pain's looking for the quick gib.
Smokes in. Have they done enough for TamTam here? It's been a bit of a trade. Forcing the way out on Massive, though. They want to try and get a hold of these spawns as best they can. Where the spawns are going to come through, we can see Massive on the short, and it's going to be the final gunfight for KRIMCEZ to win. Here comes TamTam from the other side of the map, but only 2 of them to try and make this push. 45 seconds remaining on this hill. In a drawn-out game of control so far, and has to be said a lot closer than I maybe anticipated after the first couple of hills, because Massive really, really did pull away.
I think we had a bit of a split spawn as well, which both teams had to deal with. TamTam getting the short spawn of these 2 players. Meanwhile, 2 others went from long. Big hill for Massive. Again, they've separated themselves from their opponents. Come up to a 60-point difference. And this next hill is going to be a big one. We're back all over to the initial hill. And these can make the difference. Marks are in hand for Pains. Nades for Hydrone. And he's just waiting for his teammates to get there so they can collapse and make sure they get a strict numbers advantage on this fight on Pains. Hydrone bounces to the right, dodges the shot. KRIMCEZ tries to fly in and help, but Noto reads it and gets the shot in. Meanwhile, Chris, Dragons does have the torp bow, but he is going to get angled out to his left if he's not careful. Doesn't matter. He has pushed out the players, and they are setting up ready on this new hill. Dragons is perhaps overextending you, though. He needs to make that work. Thankfully, Hydrone and Slaps nades do keep them in it and keep this numbers advantage. They still have this setup going.
They do. How long left? 46 seconds on this one. They were within touching distance of that score lead that Massive have built up once again. They can lock this time in. May well actually be even in the lead. Very, very close. Dragons finds 2 as well. That's going to ease things up. It was a bit of a split that Massive got. Lightning from either side of things. I think it's just to get the Lancers down and try and create some sort of distraction for players like Bouncers to get through the front door. The setup was very, very good. Slaps is going to find 1. Can he find the second here as well? He's got right-hand side advantage. Bouncers now in a bad spot. Slaps has done brilliantly. Finds 2 on that one side, all alone. Notorious cleans up the other 2. And this will be a very tight game heading over towards next. And the first one there is Dragons. The first team there are TamTam.
Nexus is shaping up to be a very good control map, it's safe to say, and Massive are really being put through everything right now to try and stick in this game. Slaps gets the down, they're sitting far back. Nades are thrown, my goodness, what was just, I believe a smoke was thrown? A smoke was thrown onto a nade, and then the nade blew up. Oh my goodness me. I'm thinking right there, what happened is TamTam threw a smoke at Bounce's nade when it was midair, and it blew up the nade, and that killed the teammates. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. There you go.
Confused.
Huge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Massive.
Huge nonetheless.
TamTam still trying to lock this in. Here comes the utility. Slaps now. Let me repeat some of the heroics that we've already seen. The shots in the Crimsons were good, but not quite good enough to fall. Is the third going to follow as well? Hydra and the Dragon still outside the point. Can't really do a great deal, though. They have been forced to wait. 25 seconds remaining on this one, and it will be a very, very close game. Heading over towards the next hill. It's all about this race over.
Opposite corner.
Yeah.
Like most hills.
Number 8 spawn. Look at where KRIMCEZ spawned. And I think that's because of the push that came through on the old hill.
Yeah.
And he's actually transitioned all the way up towards mid. He maybe had the flank on them. If he'd made the move around towards next.
I agree. He should have had the spawn perhaps a little bit earlier. Nonetheless, they've got the early pick. Crimson's has opened things up. He's opened things massively with a double kill. Wide open is this hill next, and they've got the setup as a result. Big, big plays from Crimson's there.
That's huge. He hits those shots, and it makes... Well, I mean, they really do count, don't they?
Yeah.
Massive now in the driving seat to take this one. We know how good of a hold this can be. No, they're going to try and...
Taken.
Yeah, okay, well, they have made the push, but the problem is that Crimson still has that tug roll available. As you said, they are really starting to tighten their grip around Massive, who are still in the point, though. They're still ticking up points, and all this time that TamTam take to try and get themselves in a spot to do something here. Ooh. The more that it does take up, Pains from behind takes down Notorious just about in time. Hydrone finds 1, but here comes maybe what could be the final push. Slaps will find 1, but nothing else. Shot spawn in for TamTam, 8 seconds, gotta go, and you gotta go fast. This is going to be a 2-1 lead for Massive unless TamTam can clutch up. Notorious gets inside at 299. Is it going to be enough? Not quite. Nearly gets inside, but not enough. 13 minutes and 13 seconds is what it took. And that was not necessarily as one-sided as we thought it was going to be. Massive get it done. Not quite in dramatic fashion, but by playing it very, very well. And that transition over. And the moment from Crimson's where he finds 2 with the tugboat is massive. For Massive.
Yeah.
I use that word far too much there. You go 2-1 now to Massive. Looking fantastic heading in towards this Asylum. And I think that's kind of series very much leaning in their direction now. We expected Control to be the dangerous one, but you never know. Asylum is kind of the one that needs to be nicked here by TamTam. It's very, very difficult, though, Toby, has to be said. What about that Control performance? So it really is sort of just brought forward. Fantastic play from Crimson's once again.
Yeah, TamTam were up close and personal. It's, again, right, we've got to mention it. They were 100 of 5 down, right? TamTam won the 2/3, right? If you go on that alone, they won the latter 2/3 of that game, leading up to 300 score. But because of that, slow start advantage to Massive once more, and it seals the deal for them. But in terms of what happened at the end, right? Two players, Crimsons and Pains. Crimsons we saw with the torpo, the 2 kills to actually open up the retake and the push. To make up for their slower rotation against TamTam. Excellent from him. But not only that, he also got the stagger on 1 player. Remember, the torpo towards the Markser was able to keep TamTam from being able to mount a proper offensive to try and retake the last hill. But sadly as well for TamTam, it was one other player, and it was Pains. 1 player got down on the staircase, remember, but Pains came out of nowhere was not only able to take the down, but also got the revive in, then was able to flank and get the trade off on Hydro, and that was it. That sealed the deal. They had the short spawn, did TamTam, they had the numbers, they had the down, but sadly, they had everything going for them, but Pain just took it away from them in one fell swoop. So unfortunate for TamTam, really unfortunate that it came down to those two, but it just goes to show how important that first third is. To give away 100 points like that and be 95 points down would have been hugely different if that didn't if that first third was a bit different, you know.
Yeah, potentially. Look, you can't find yourself down 100 to 4 immediately. That kind of puts you in a bad spot, as mentioned. Heading into the Asylum, look, in fairness, we talked that the control would probably go over towards Massive, and I feel like we're looking for excuses to get TamTam back into this game. How is it done on Asylum? We've seen a 5-0 in Training Grounds before, albeit a couple of the rounds a little bit close. Do we see it happening though, Toby? That's a question. We've been theorizing that, it has to be the execution. Then you have to see where you can go from there. They take the Asylum, all of a sudden you're heading into checkout, and it's like, okay, well, this could go either way, but taking the Asylum is the hard part, I think.
Yeah, massively so. I think just based on TG, right? Escalation is clearly going Massive's way right now in Europe, and they are the best escalation team and they're the best control team, just hands down. They've given away the execution, so they've at least, well, not given it away, excuse me. They've lost the execution, and so TamTam have a route back in. Right now, if I'm TamTam, if I was their coach, if they had a coach, I would be screaming in the air, listen, escalation, if we can win this one map, we've beaten them on escalation before, as of recent times, of course, beating them TG 5-4 before, we can get it to a checkout and we can win that XE checkout. The likelihood that TamTam can beat Massive on that map is actually better than Gridlock statistically. If you look at the actual performances against each other, if they can get to a checkout, it's game on. Boy, would I love to see that. But they have to get through Asylum escalation first. Comes down to those 1Bs on the tracks in the second half, the 1B up top in the first half. I'd love to see Hydron actually in those 1v positions, because he's been very, very good at those. And Noto has been doing very well in team fights today, it seems like, with other players. So that's what I'd like to see personally. I think they can do it. Do I think they will? I don't think so. I think Massive just looked too good so far today on escalation. It was a very dominant performance on TG with a 5-0 earlier.
Yeah, has to be said, it was very dominant. And look, you can maybe look to those first 3 rounds that we did see. They had to go the distance for Massive, and it was relatively close. So let's see if TamTam can turn some of those rounds into round wins, rather than just close ones. As we head over towards Asylum, back to escalation we go. I haven't seen Asylum for a good few weeks, has to be said.
Wow, yeah. It's been all Vazgar TG escalation, and it's weird. We talked about it before, but when Gears 5 first came out, it was all about Asylum and District, right? Those are the popular maps, and Vazgar TG were a lot less popular, especially Vazgar, but it's flipped the other way. The meta, if you will, of picks and bans have developed, and now all European teams have seemed to caught up with the practice on Vazgar and TG that they missed out on at the start, and now Vazgar and TG are the most popular maps and favored maps, surprisingly.
Let's see which way this one's going to go. Of course, on the Swarm side will be TamTam. They're going to get a hold of B, but it's the AC push coming out of Massive immediately. Something we're quite used to seeing. These home hill holds, if you like. Now going to be the transition over towards B. They're going to give up C. Then start making the move over towards B, trying to collapse in a couple of different directions. Win condition is there for TamTam. Push coming in here from Massive.
3 players down low. Well, no, it's gone back down to 2, actually. TamTam have the numbers advantage here, immediately taking down Pains. That was a fantastic push from TamTam. Now, numbers-wise, Massive will be held back, and they'll be looking to see if they can make the play over on the home street, and they certainly are. Bounce is pushing through. KRIMCEZ is there. And they have got access to that hill, but they're still focusing on players as of right now to keep them at bay. There comes Slaps, though. Big down. Peeks around the corner. Gets the down and forced revive from KRIMCEZ. Hydron takes down 1. Bounces does respond. But traded out again. The fight continues. TamTam are holding on strong to this home hill. They're just wiggling their way into that home hill push. with shotguns, and there you go. 3 players on the overextension now. They've got B control. A player can pick up home hill. They're going for the jugular.
Gonna try and do something here, TamTam. Lock this one in early. Make a bit of a statement here on Asylum. Flash goes out. It feels like TamTam are very much in this one, of course in the lead. You can never ever count out Massive. KRIMCEZ finds 2 downs. Which way is that fight going to go? Bouncer's just overextending all the way over towards C. If you're TamTam, you're going to have to make sure that you try and get a hold of this now. It is going to be held. They will make the push through. Now we'll make their way over towards C. Domination could be ticking in a second, but they have actually left A. So it should allow Massive to at least stay in the game.
Look at Bounces. He's literally back at the enemy spawn right now to stay alive, and he does need to do that. He needs to buy his team time, but right now, TamTam can literally win off 1. So that is something they do not have much of at all. 3 seconds on the clock. There we go. TamTam will see it out after a fantastic first round of, you know, offense, Chris, winning that initial and ensuring there's no retake on the tracks. Defense, of course, on the home hill, and then the offense back into it with a triple cap push. Really quite a good round. Only 3 kills came in through in the end for Massive, or 3 elims. That's certainly a strong round from TamTam. Definitely the start they needed.
Huge start for them. They may well force this map number 5 if they can keep this up. Massive though. Can't rule them out after 1 round. That would be very foolish, wouldn't it? See if they can turn this one round, but it's a great start for TamTam. Split though, and then very evenly. 1 mid, 1 up top, 2 over towards the tracks from each team. Let's see who hits the ball talk shots. Should make a difference, especially with the shots coming in from mid-map. First down is probably going to be a real teller of which way this B point's going to go.
Well, I'd argue KRIMCEZ is the best ball talk in Europe from what I've seen. Casting so far. See if he can put it to work today. That is a gorgeous flash from Plains. Is he going to go on it? No, just dodge the flash instead. Both teams showing so much respect, not trying anything too risky just yet. But usually, this is the time to make the play, of course. 1 train on the right will guarantee a strict 2v2. And Pains wants that fight, it seems like. Perfect flash. Hydra in full red. Can't get to cover in time. That should seal the deal. Slaps. He's bought some time, though. Slaps has done amazingly well. The cross comes through. Massive unable to make the play in time. The train disappears, and then suddenly it all crumbles. 1 does go down in the form of dragons. Slaps again saving the day, though. Nice revive from him, getting the down on Pains. And now 3v2. Kills are coming through. With KRIMCEZ and KRIMCEZ, the last players alive. And that should be a triple cap, actually, because the overextension is coming through. 3 seconds on the clock. Pains is the first one off spawn, and he's not going to be able to reach it. My goodness me, TamTam. That was really brilliant. Actually, incredible stuff on the tracks there, and it was all Slaps. Hydra was able to get back and far enough, you know, when he was getting downed, but Slaps saved on the defense twice there with the revives, reading the plays from some of Europe's best pushers. And while all that was going on, Chris, TamTam were winning the 1v on home street. And they just out-rotated them, out-rotated Massive to the tracks there when the train disappeared with the numbers advantage. Great round.
It was a brilliant fight by them over towards trucks. Slaps constantly just being an annoyance. Let's see though. 3 more rounds to go for TamTam to force a map number 5 here, Toby.
Yeah. Those were some very hard-fought rounds from both teams there. TamTam clearly getting the advantage, though, and they certainly earned them. But now, both teams have to be very careful. And this is a thing, right? Massive do not want this to go to checkout. They do not want this to go to checkout. They know they're the better escalation team on this day. And historically, they have been the better team, beating TamTam a number of times in escalation. But execution checkout, they know they're not as confident on. They do not want it going there. Let's see if they can get back into this.
KRIMCEZ isn't missing. Here we go. This is a little bit better from Massive over towards B. In's going to find that second fight as well. B is going to be locked in, and now C. The next thing on the list here for Massive. forcing the fight up towards it. It's well played. They back down over towards top side. Dragon's now going to drop and now trying to force their way into C. Look at the spread from Pains on the initial shots that come through. Snap should surely follow as well. He's going to be dead, and that's a big round. Massive get it done in some fashion. Pains finds a lot of kills towards the end of that round, and all of a sudden, the lead is halved.
Payne just came flying out of the gate there, didn't he? Finding the 2 kills instantly as soon as the train covered up his approach for a strict 2v2 down on the tracks, and then immediately overextending, going for the flank and getting the kills. Great job. And just 1 round left of the first half. So it's been interesting, this intense tracks fight from both teams as we go back and forth now. Potentially. Just 1 more round until we completely change it up and the 1v moves to down bottom and the center hill moves up top. Who can win this last round of the half? 3-1 up, Chris. Just imagine that would be so big for TamTam going to the second. But can massive equalize it now.
See which way this B fight goes this time. Shot not quite landing.
KRIMCEZ
bit of a stalemate. Yeah, it's just a bit of a stalemate to kick things off. The train coming in will probably make the difference. Flash going to come out, and then, oh my goodness me, look at this pressure put in from TamTam. Flash out, back on the Hydra, and the shots are good from KRIMCEZ, but can they make them count for anything?
Oh, the rotation.
Oh yeah, who's this coming on through?
KRIMCEZ,
looks like Crazed. Hydra, oh, he's able to turn and burn onto KRIMCEZ, isn't quite able to do much else. Dragon somehow finds the fire on the bounces as well. So I'm not too sure who's actually come off the better for that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, good job to Dragons, right? KRIMCEZ took the initiative to rotate and get the 3v2. Dragons, meanwhile, of course, gets the kill in middle and uses his number elsewhere to ensure he was at least proactive. As KRIMCEZ revive comes through. But, a little bit of an overextension from Pains. He's got the angle in the center. Goes in the gap. Oh, Slap baited that perfectly. I genuinely thought he was going to revive that myself. And he just turned and burned, and then Dragons again gets the kill on center onto KRIMCEZ. And now 4v2. Are they going to go on this? Are they going to look for the triple? Dragons think so. Hunting down bounces. But I'm wondering if he's got any support. His shots are on point.
Here it comes.
But he needs help.
Yeah, he does. Needs to find at least 2 here. KRIMCEZ is going to get rid of Dragons as KRIMCEZ does fall over towards the train tracks. It's a big loop back round over towards A for a couple of members of TamTam. We can see the transition coming over from B. KRIMCEZ is inside the point, has Pains the company as well. It's still a lead for TamTam, not just in the map, but in this round specifically as well. Decap does come on through and has to be a fight over towards B potentially, but it looks like it's just all going to go down inside of A. Pains will find one, Bounces found another just before that as well. And the transition over towards B is surely going to come through. A and C locked in. If you're Slaps, you've got to just delay it.
Points-wise, they're still in. Oh, Slaps is playing so well. Playing so smart. Oh, that roll is unfortunate.
Yeah, you jinxed it.
So unfortunate that it... if he was an alternate, you know, that might have not been a roll. But nonetheless, he has done so well this map so far. His head's certainly in the game. You know, he's not feeling much pressure at all, it seems like. Look at this for a retake for Hydron. Try and get out there. Oh, wow. Pain sealed the deal, though, with that back 8.
Yeah.
Points-wise, this should be it.
It should be. It'll take something for TamTam to turn this one around with 5 seconds to go. Not going to happen. That is going to be 2-2 now, and Massive put themselves back in the ring for this one. 2-0. TamTam were up, but it's very, very quickly being turned around.
Shout out to Slaps, honestly. It felt like yesterday, Chris. I think towards the end of the Pro League, right, that we were talking about his up and coming reign, right? We talk about Saitama these days as the new up and comer in Europe, but Slaps used to be that player now, and look where he is at this point in time. He's come so far, and he wasn't highly rated, right, before you know, Marsh and the roster change happened and stuff, but he's certainly a solid fourth, I'd argue, right, in this team, and it's really great to see him play so well in such a heated environment now, like this grand final.
We're finding our transitions up towards E, and this is kind of where we do see these long drawn-out rounds, don't we? Kind of the war of attrition up towards E. Oh, you're going to use your utility to make a push? Okay, we're going to use ours. Shot comes out, though. That's going to block the push back from TamTam. That revive is going to come through, but surely Slaps and Dragons are going to be licking their wounds as they move away. Pain's very weak momentarily. 9% he went down to. That shock is going to block it as well. Pains gets out, but there you go. The force is going to come through from TamTam. Pains should get away at the third time of asking.
It was unfortunate on the shock as well, Chris, because it was just a little bit too far to the left of Pains where he wouldn't get hit by it. You know, he did get out eventually and get lanced, but yeah, that could have sealed the deal for this push in terms of getting the kills. But we got the cap in, but here come the retake from Massive. One down on the doorway. Pains for red. He's on his last down. He has to be so careful because the revive is not going to save him now. Here comes the push, though. Straight into it. Great shots. KRIMCEZ immediately getting the down on Slaps with help of the rest of them. 3 players are Massive. Oh, this might even go to a triple cap. They're snowballing into kill after kill. Noto very weak. There's another one. And there's the other extension. They're not even going to revive Crimson's. They're just going to leave him there. And instead go for the triple.
Going for the triple, and Dragons is the first one here to help things out. Bounces, how has that resulted in the kill? The pressure going to continue nonetheless. They did eventually get Crimson's up.
Yeah, I think Pain just turned around and left bounces in his own. I think, yeah, the triple cap couldn't happen as a result. Unfortunate, I guess, that Crimson's were down in the process for them, but save TamTam. Here comes the retake.
Oh, yeah, Pain's going to fall. Eventually. So it feels like so long he's been alive. Bounces is going to save his teammate here as well. That shock is solid to keep them off it. Lead there for Massive, still here. Oh, it bounces.
Oh my god.
He's so close. So close to being down by the shot. Oh, the shot's going to come through, but KRIMCEZ pushes around the corner as well and gets both of them. Oh, no, he doesn't. He only gets the one onto Dragons, who then deals the damage by just being the meat shield. Eventually, KRIMCEZ is going to get through, and, well, all of a sudden, Domination ticking on through. Pains want to fight over towards E as well. The Domination's denied. Is anything going to be able to happen towards the home hill? Just about staying in it. The problem is they're too far behind here. It needs to be flawless. It's not going to be good enough. There's not enough time, and Massive are going to take the lead here on Asylum for the first time. What a round that was, by the way. Back and forth with 3 in a row now for Massive.
This is EU Gears at its best right now. Tell you that both teams are going back and forth, and it's 3 rounds in a row for Massive. Despite, you know, each of those rounds TamTam have been showing up. They've been a really good team, and I'm just waiting for a big weapon placement to go down at this point. It could change everything. Might have a little bit of a pause. Slap says wait in the chat, but Hydron's looking at his placement. That's for sure.
Considering it.
Oh, it's going to be surely.
Yeah, it makes the E push just...
There we go. Extra volatility, Hydron says. That's what they want.
Oh, wait, somebody has disconnected.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll wait a spawn for him to get back in. And we have a little bit of a pause for us to catch a breather with these 2 teams.
Surely they're gonna... Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be waiting. They'll be waiting, yeah. And of course, you can just press start and restart round on escalation now, so they can cap hills, they can do whatever as long as the round doesn't tick over. Yeah, we'll wait for the player to get back in, and that is Noto. What a great final.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Very good. The round will get restarted. Just waiting for Noto to get back into the game. It's more of an opportunity to...
They're all just having conversations with each other, it seems like.
That's very nice.
Oh. KRIMCEZ was just beating his chest. Trying to assert himself as the alpha male. Or the silverback. That's what I was looking for.
hopefully Noto gets back in shortly.
Yep. I don't. Well, he should be. He shouldn't be too long, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, based on the results we've seen between these two teams, Chris, it's safe to say that Massive aren't immortal.
We got an achievement. Sick.
Oh, do we? You'll have to see it. Massive aren't immortal, Chris. They've lost the escalation TG in the past. They've lost a number of executions. They were quite close, actually, to TamTam there, you know, despite the early 100-point lead. And they've lost execution to PhantomT as well. Right now, they're 3-2 on Escalation Asylum. Massive might be the best team, and they might be flawless so far in terms of actual match results, but with the up prize pool and Hydron continuing to put in the time on this game, and teams seemingly getting a little bit better with the strats, you know, execution gridlock has completely changed, it seems like, for these two teams, then, you know, Massive have to continue working hard, I think. You know, they're certainly not in a comfortable spot right now. They have to keep it going.
Well, hopefully he's back in the game shortly, and we can resume the grand final. I just love this.
So, what about your favorite Axie maps? Ton, what are we saying? What's your favorite Axie map so far?
My favorite?
Yeah.
I kind of like Checkout in the sense of that it is just a bit mental.
Right.
But Gridlock kind of takes me back a little bit. And I do like... You know what? I actually really enjoyed Canals the other day.
Same. I really liked it. I think Canals can be really entertaining. And again, I've said it before. I'll say it again for Gears 5, XT 2.0. Canals is a lot different on XE 2.0 than XE 1.0. That strat, if you actually play for... There you go, they restart the round to make sure there's no result. You can't just play. You used to be a strat where you used to go from the initial and played for the Torque pickup and then return back to your bridge with the power up and advantage in a 4v4 and you just camp it out. But no, you can't do that anymore because you give up map control for that ring and you've got 2 minutes to try and retake junction or low side, which is very difficult to do. Looks like they're just waiting for a second again for Noto to get back on his Xbox or PC. But yeah, I think Canals is improved drastically by XT 2.0 more than any other map that we've ever seen. And I think with time, a lot more players perhaps will come around to it.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
We haven't seen enough of Tomb yet. I need to see more Tomb.
We need to see more Tomb, yeah. I like Tomb.
Well, this is another round that should be reset. Hopefully Notorious scuttles back up to his... well, he's there. Who's not there?
I actually wonder, do you know if you hit restart round, whether all the kills and points that were gathered that round are deleted, or do they stay? Because this could be just stat padding right now, all these kills, you know? Does anyone know in chat? Is there a player? Surely that, you know, players have restarted rounds a number of times, right, in scrims. And does anyone know? Kills, deaths, all that? Does it get reset as well? Oh, yeah, Ace McLeod has actually just beat me to it. That's. I promise you I was not reading chat. We've both just thought the same thing at the same time. We're on the same wavelength.
Indeed we are. What's going on? I think everybody wants to know.
Yeah, KRIMCEZ is asking if they're ready. Noto's back in the game. I'm sure he should be good to go in a sec. It might be an internet issue, right? He might still be lagging a little bit, double checking that the reset of a router or whatever might have, that it worked. Looks like Hydron has said nah for a sec. Lagging out party. Yeah, I guess it's a broadband issue then, perhaps. Notorious asking if they can try Discord. But yeah.
I find it crazy that players don't use Discord anyway.
I think players should be using Discord, yeah. You know, if I was being ultra serious, now that we're, of course, controller crossplay here in Europe, if I was competing, I would actually I would want everyone on PC just for the sake of easier access to Discord. Alone, right?
Yeah, true.
Alone.
I was going to say, I just think...
Everything resets, Mantis said. Thank you very much for confirming. A veteran European player in the chat. But yeah, that's good. Good the stats reset and stuff. So we can, as casters and players and fans rely on the stats we see in the end scoreboard in maps that have these delayed rounds. Oh, well played, Train. Infinite KD, by the way, that Train. Infinite.
That's true. Wow. Well,
yeah.
I mean, hopefully we can get back into this one shortly. Not quite...
Favorite control map, Chris?
Favorite control map? I actually really liked Regency back then. I would have said
same.
Nexus from what we've seen so far, but I know it has its issues.
Yeah.
Regency looked pretty clean though. It has to be said.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I think, clean is a good term. Like, it's very, very clear what teams are trying to do and what they're not trying to do on Regency. It's just a very clear-cut map. The sun is shining. No players are sneaking through anywhere really, but there are the flanking routes. They've got a little bit. It's got a little bit of everything, but it's very structured. The distance between hills and the hill rotation, the ring order is very clear, and the spawns in terms of trying to control them, the short spawns and whatnot, I think they're very well placed. Great positioning between them, and it's got all the power weapons that you'd ever want. And again, to reiterate to the viewers at home who missed it earlier, I said, I've noticed with the North American LATAM Pro League that Regency seems to be the most popular control map right now. That is the map that keeps getting through and keeps getting picked by the top teams. And that, to me, would suggest that it might even be the favorite map. I know Checkout and Tomb are the two most favorite maps so far for the NA teams that I know of in their map cycle. But Regency, I think, is the favorite control map for those guys. So, yeah. Definitely something to keep in mind as we see things develop here, both in Europe and in NA LATAM.
Well, hopefully this is ready to kick off very, very shortly. Seen plenty of chat in the game, of course. It's just waiting on players getting sorted out. Been quite a while though.
Just waiting for Discord invites, I think, it looks like. As players pause for a second and stand around. I wonder now what's where Marsh is going to end up when he does eventually return. Breaker, of course, a free agent. He's not been a free agent in a long time, right? As Breaker. It's been him and Saki against the world since the start of Gears 5, even Gears 4, I want to say. So I do wonder where they end up, Chris. Those players in particular. You can see Slazen, right, is already playing with Saitama, Zenji.
I think we might see a bit more of a Rostamania when he does want to make a comeback.
He could be the stimulus for everything changing, right? Players want to just take advantage oftentimes in these Rostamanias, and it can all start off with one roster swap. As soon as you unlock one door, that door leads to several other doors opening, which otherwise wouldn't open at all. And then, all bets are off as to how teams look at the end. But I think one thing's for certain. Looking at the massive squad, all 4 players have earned their spot. KRIMCEZ has definitely cemented himself in that roster. If, in my opinion, Chris, individually, talent-wise, he's there. Even in this game, look at him, 17 kills, right? And he's got the experience on cost/control comp and Xe. So I don't think the massive roster would swap at all. I think they're set in stone no matter what happens.
Well, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, it looks like we're back in. Shout out Ted.
Yeah, I was about to say. You planned that one. times.
Here we go then. 3-2 to Massive, 2-1 up in the series, and we are back underway. TamTam do get initial control of up top bridge and do get the drop shot, but it is momentarily wasted. Oh, I tell you what, the cog domination was taken in there. Strange one. Big fight going on over towards D as well. I think Bouncers will do miraculously to get out of this one. Isn't going to, of course. D now going to be locked in. The TamTam, they have a hold of E. They have a hold of one of the drop shot. Good spot for them to be in now.
Hydron is certainly good steady hands to have that drop shot. I'm not sure if he... Does he have one left? Still got his pistol out.
I think so.
There we go. He does. He does. There it goes. No, not going to connect. Not ideal at all. I'm not sure if that was an active or not, but Pains and no one got damaged. But Hydron will fly in, get that big kill on that push like he was doing earlier on Gridlock. 2v3. Pains trying to close the gap. Not able to get that Gib. He needed it. The numbers were not on his side, and Slaps immediately shutting him down. King Defender Slaps in this asylum, isn't it? He has just stopped Pains in his tracks. What a difficult task it is to do. To be able to shut down such a player like that consistently.
I'll tell you what, the triple cap's on the cards here, Toby.
Yeah. Oh, Dragon's just got lanted out though.
Yeah, he did. That might just slow things down here, but if you're TamTam, you kind of need to win a couple of gunfights on the exit, or at least survive cleanly. Looks like the latter is going to happen at least. Big push coming in here, the Crimson's all down one, and well, this might be E going over towards the side of Massive, but Hydron takes Crimson's head off. Will survive the encounter as well, and the push was going to continue here. Massive Pains and Bouncers need to do something. They're both going to fall. TamTam still in control of this round.
This is great.
On the cards here once again.
Yeah, and they're going to have drop shot access, Chris, so they don't even need to do too much here. Crimson's will get a huge gap out of nowhere on the Dragons. He comes on the corner, but Slaps keeping his nerve, keeping the distance, and now Hydron is going to walk in with the drop. Oh no, he takes out his teammate, but Pains will drop nonetheless, and that should just be enough to ensure they win by points now. No pressure at all. Is he going to get... Nope. Nope. Not going to get the drop shot kill. Well. He'll just shoot at the pillar instead. 3-3, Chris. This is the end of the round streak for Massive. And that was quite a convincing round, actually, from TamTam there. From start to finish.
Well then. Things getting very interesting. And that's the first round we've actually seen the drop shot be used properly. Obviously, we had a delay, etc. going on. It feels like a while since we've seen it. Okay, so the lock is going to come in on one side. It's going to happen on the other as well. Seems that way.
There you go. Interesting decision as well, by the way. You know, usually you see the locks, a little bit later on when a team has reached 4 rounds, and it goes to show that both teams don't want to put anything middle or tracks to change this fight. They just want the strict drop shot fight up top for the E-Hell.
Yep. There's nothing else to contend with. I think it's always the person who makes the initial change is the one who wants it more, I suppose, and then you have to kind of just mirror it, don't you? Crazed is going to get out with that. Drop shot in hand now for Crazed. Good news for Massive, at least. Anyways, this push is actually going to start coming in over towards F as well. There's a potential. And domination about to come through. Bounce is going to try and deter them away from making this push. The drop shot surely going to come through any second now. Here it comes. There's one going to go down. Bounces is the only one left to survive. Finds 2. There's the drop shot going to come in though. It has given Notorious time to come in off respawn, but he has to make the push. Has to make it now. Has to get inside. Just about. At the skin of his teeth. Yeah, they can do. Dragons might actually just do better just to try and get out. They can continue to survive here, TamTam, and they will survive. Drop shot was used. Yasuke and Massive do get an advantage from that, which is around 70 points or so. But they did not get the round win. TamTam still have a shot in this round.
Drop, not up yet. They have time to work with. TamTam, oh, they had the advantage, but Pain's just going to kill, and a reaction shot down. That might have just sealed the deal right there. That one play, Hydron trying to close the gap, not going to happen. Pain's just had done too much to whittle down the numbers of his enemies, and now that could be the round sealed with drop shot coming up soon. Points advantage to Massive. Pivotal round here.
Yep, huge. TamTam one final desperate push. Dragons is going to manage to get through. Drop shot, though, as mentioned, will be coming up in a second. Now, have they timed it correctly? All the reinforcements that are going to come in here from Massive be able to make this push back in just a moment. Drop shot, surely it's coming shortly. Oh, the flank around behind as well from Hydron. Is that going to enable the push to come in from the other side? Hydron is going to find one. Crimson's finds another. Now it's the push over towards D. F now has been contested though, and Massive are going to be able to get a hold of it. Slaps deals with Pains. Now Crimson's. Is he next on the chop and block? It was a good spread, but Crimson's deals with it. And one cab does it. You have a Massive. Drop shot going to go over towards the side of TamTam though. They're getting a hold of their home hill. Bounces.
Huge.
Trying to get it done. Hydron was playing maybe a little bit of a secret man over there, and all of a sudden things are just starting to go over towards Massive. Crimson's now is going to delay whatever Notorious was trying to do. D doesn't look attainable for TamTam. That's a round over to Massive. And they clutch up big time towards the end of that, 1 round away from 6 weeks in a row.
What a stunning round we just saw there. I thought Hydron just did it all there. He made the plays. He got the kills. A double kill at that. But then Pounces was able to get that huge 1v win on Hydron on the hill. Pains was lurking, of course. Slaps took him out earlier, and Crimson's winning out on the enemy's home hill as well. I genuinely thought TamTam had that there. That could be the round that seals the deal for this grand final. That could be it. Hydron has been playing out of his mind this Sunday. You know, we said it before, he would get better and better as time went on. Dragon's got the drop pickup, but he is going to get down in the process. Drop shot out. Won't be able to defend himself too well if the push comes through. Slaps with the double down on Pains. The revives have come through.
Get him up.
Oh my god.
Oh, they haven't got him up either, and Pains is just going to gun down. Surely this is a cleanup. You'd think. Revive chain comes through. If TamTam get out of this, I have no idea how Dragons gets out with the drop.
He's got drop as well.
Oh my days. How has he got out?
Don't chance on 1B. There's no need. Hydron's there. He's going to get down as well. 1v2.
God.
You can't let that happen. Pains has just 1v2'd them.
Oh, it's all falling apart. And very, very quickly, D is going to start getting locked in. Hydron, I don't know if you're close enough. You may well be, but if you get in there or not is another thing. He gets in, finds a kill. How? Crimson's, though, is able to answer back, and that will be number 6 in a row for the boys of Massive. 5-3. Eventually, here on Escalation, a 3-1 win in the grand finals. TamTam, the closest we've seen so far, but not close enough. Massive, once again, get it done emphatically. Let's have a look at the bracket to see how they did it. TamTam beating PhantomT in the semi-finals. Massive beating Jalebi Baby, who we will keep an eye on as time does go on. They will only progress as a team who have just really thrown themselves together. Let's see how they do. But fantastic work from Massive once again in those grand finals. A 3-1 win. And it just comes down to fantastic play in the control again, and the escalation looking so good. If they brush up on their execution, they are going to be very unstoppable in a few weeks' time during the finals. Very, very unstoppable.
I think TamTam, with that performance in the grand final, just cements themselves as the second best team in Europe, for sure, right?
So.
We kind of knew it for a while, right? We knew PhantomT perhaps weren't quite there, despite some awesome performances in the split finals. I think, to be honest, PhantomT peaked back in split finals number 2, and I think the lack of practice and the new modes has kind of showed that, you know, perhaps they aren't, you know, able to hold that in the spot, despite, you know, highly rated fluctuation with rosters and stuff. But no, for me, there, Hydron played out of his mind. I think that's really the crucial thing. And it's interesting because we've been talking about Marsh today a lot, haven't we? Hydron is the one who replaced Marsh when Marsh left the team. Where's Hydron going to end up now? Or where's Marsh going to end up now? That spot seems to be locked in for me for Hydron with how well he played today. You know, we know his team works there. We know he was one of the top players in, you know, the old Elevate, Fable, Space Station roster of Gears 4 when they dominated Europe then. Question is for Marsh. He's going to be watching perhaps and just thinking, wow, all right, Hydron perhaps has secured that spot now. And Marsh might not be able to get back in that team, or whatever it might be. Slaps again, we were talking about
Look,
today, right? He's the young gun, but he was clearly doing his job today and shutting down Pains, that Europe's best, arguably, are pushing time and time again. I think it's been quite an unfortunate grand final, actually, because it's been a lot closer perhaps than the maps would suggest. And if just 2 rounds went differently there for TamTam, if they weren't able to clutch up that roster, Payne's just even getting a 1v2 right on the drop shot player on Dragons, right?
Huge.
In that last round, as an example, they're going to be kicking themselves for that round alone. So unfortunate for TamTam. Perhaps could have saw a check out there if it went a little bit differently, and perhaps they would have been a different champion today.
Possibly close, but no cigar. Kind of just really tells the story, doesn't it? Very, very unfortunate from TamTam's point of view, but nonetheless, massive get it done once again, showing that they can do it not just in whitewashes, they can do it when the games get close as well. And they are very much the team to beat when it does come to the finals, but we are still 2 weeks away. 2 weeks of regular play to still get your practice in ahead of the finals. As I said, we've just doubled the prize pool for that. So very excited to see how the finals do go down, which is now changed to the 26th and 27th of June. Moved it forward just a little bit. So we've got 2 more regular weeks of play and then straight into the finals. But if you do want to sign up for the regular weeks of play, make sure you keep an eye on our socials. Get yourself signed up. The links that will be posted out at egl.tv. And yeah, we hope to see you in the weeks to come as time does go on, as the time gets closer to those finals. Toby, once again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to everybody in the chat. It's been a fun one today. Thank you for everyone for the interaction. It's been a blast. So, well, once again, more good gears and more fantastic gears out of Massive. They really are the team to beat. 2 weeks to go till the finals. Can anyone beat them? If you think so, get yourself signed up. We'll see you next Sunday.